I think I'm pretty happy about beef pot pie. We'll see how that goes. We had beef yesterday, so that's always a little shaky. You don't like to have the same protein back-to-back days.
It was good, though.
It was good.
No, my complaint about the beef yesterday was that there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I meant like the quality. Like if it's the same protein, maybe it was
I thought it was fine.
Rehashed.
I thought it was.
No, I thought yesterday was great. So hopefully we have another repeat of that. But it's 11 o'clock already. So YSS still indicating $38.
It's up to 800,000 now.
Yeah.
At least get to 1 million. If you
It will. It will.
1 million shares.
Beef style tilapia pot pie. Yeah. Famous right there. So we did average in. We got a little 99 there on silver, and now it goes blasting to the high side now. So we're making a little bit of money back here on silver. Maybe it does give us that winning feel about it again. More outs there. As now we're 70 cents in the money on SLV. Let's see if there is a little bit of a turnaround. $16 in the money on AMD, SLV. Good day today, Neil. We will see everybody very, very soon. The campus program, Kunal wants to know about it. I don't believe, are we, I'll have to talk, Brendan's got his headphones on there. I don't think it's running, but send it in. Go to realtrading.com. There's a link there for the campus program. You can submit your application at any time. Okay, so go in there, submit it, and then they'll get back to you and let you know, Kunal. So there it is, man, realtrading.com, and go in there, the campus program. I'll find out for the midday show or whatever if it's open again.
I don't know if they open it up periodically.
And we'll bring that news to you. But there goes silver now. Now we're $1 plus in the money on SLV as it just continues to sort of climb a little bit higher. So thankfully, we're making a little bit back here on this silver trade. All right, ciao everybody. Over to the midday show.
Good luck,
Thanks,
everybody.
Adara.
Drinking water.
There you go. Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. See who's in the chat. Say hello, hello. If you haven't said hello before, throw your name in. Shout out to JC Trader, All the Cream, Cheezers Live. We got Yummy Thai Foods, my PD writer, Papacito, Rex Banner, Possit, Something Pup, Chris Mills, Pete, Zapai. Shout out to Bax. Shout out to C3 Malt Trader, Darling Green Plates. We got Gun Dogs Direct. Okay. OG Wisdom, love that one. Gladys G. Shout out to Gabby Do or something. Who else? Eddie the Dealer, Durant Gordon. If you're new, throw your name in. I'm looking for new names. We got Steve G. Double Dip Chip, yes. George Costanza messed up that day, man. He could have had a good thing with that woman, but it wasn't to be. If you know, you know. Vancouver, Seat O Sky, Cross Country Curious. Okay. We got Tariq, Dillion. We got Eliza. And shout out to Jack B. Nimble, JR. Who else, man? We got Lady Soar. Neil, Nelly, LOL. We got Steve Knight. Shout out to the OG Darwin. He says Neo at potential support, so watch out for that. Rack Stacker, Joey. Okay. Mac Wilder. Who else, man? JJ, Junder Clover, and Jordy, I should say, VWAP. I like all those new names today. A bunch of new names I haven't seen in the chat. Good morning, Joey.
Yeah, I like that as well, too. The market headed to the downside, guys. Once again, good morning to everyone. My guy, Gorav, Vizbot, I haven't seen you here today, but I also haven't really been engaged in too much chat. Good morning, Jody, and everyone else. Yeah, guys, I mean, it's definitely been a hectic one. We have TSLL down about 5.8% here. We took a couple of attempts on it, guys. Let's get right into things. And then I was like, you know what? We got to wait and be patient and eventually go with the flow, because trying to catch these bottoms right now does not seem to be the strategy. But other than that, we go 0 for 2 on TSLL. Nothing to worry about. But I'll tell you one thing, and I put it in the chat this morning. I had a massive scare on CVNA. I was trying to short this thing. I don't know what it's at right now, 422, so roughly where I got out. But holding this against me up until 432 was not a good time. And then you know what? I was like, hey, let's just get out of this before we cause any more damage or decides to rebound. So there it is. CVNA still slightly positive here this morning. All right, Eddie, I'm going to call you Eddie the distributor. How's that one? Trader TV, I got a delivery for you guys from DoorDash. It's incoming. DM me for pin. Same tag IG. Wow, man. All right, Eddie, you're on fire today. I don't even really know what to say. Couple hundred memberships, multiple super chats. Eddie the dealer, man, you are an absolute superstar, and that's going to come from everyone here. So thank thank you. Once again, Eddie, we couldn't be more thankful for all of that, the donations and everything along those lines, man. What's for lunch? No, it is not IHOP. It is not IHOP, all right, guys? TQs, let's see what we got. Oh, okay, all right, hold on. Let's hit this for, we'll hit this for Eddie, all right? And then we're going to hit this for Eddie as well, too.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look at what we were looking at here, guys.
Get it.
We have the TQs, Meta, SLV, Tesla, and GLD on the radar. Man, oh man, what a monster climb that we experienced yesterday in silver, obviously, after the FOMC and Jerome Powell speaking. And gold as well, too, continuing to climb. But this morning, we see an aggressive sell-off, so not too good of a look so far. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see buyers start to engage once again, because Katina Man's long this, so he must be onto something off of those lows. So not too bad, guys. TSLA, GLD, SLV, Meta, and the TQQs is what your boy has his eye on. Now, one thing to note before we send it over to Sharif is take a look at the 5-minute volume profile. All right, so you can see that the dominant side is with the bears, and we're starting to see a little bit of a breath here. Well, what am I going to do? I want to see how price reacts around the volume-weighted average price, and then maybe we go with the flow, and we try to stick where the vast majority of the volume is coming in, and that is to the short side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now here on SLV and GLD. TQs have been getting slack, so I'm not going to be chasing it, but eyes on SLV, Sharif.
Sounds good, Joseph Options. All right, I just worked into a trade. This is going to be the first one of the day. Look, I don't know what the hell is going on in the world of small cap gappers, but almost every single one of the small cappers I have on the side chart is on the MX network, and that displeases me greatly. But we're going to have to go with the flow because I don't really have a choice. So TCGL, MX. I think Feed, no, Feed's probably the only one. Hold on, double check. Feed, show yourself. No, that one's Nasdaq. ZSL. GDXD, GCTS, they're either the NYSE or they're the Amex. And I don't know why, but we're just going to have to kind of go with the whole thing. But here we are. The biggest, the baddest of the small cap gappers right now is TCGL. And I got to tell you guys, my charts are acting up big time today. So this is going to look like it's going to happen a whole bunch of times. So let's just take it off and go into the white charts. We're halted to the upside right now on TCGL, up 234%. Okay, good. Decided to behave itself a little bit over here. Good boy, good boy.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're halted at 29.17. Halt time, 11:05:45. Earliest will be open, 11:10:45. Tap showing 29.17. You want to know why the tap is the same as the halt price? Because this one's on the CRAPMEX network or whatever, MX network. We're not going to be able to see the theoretical auction price. So that's kind of the thing about trading these small cap gappers off the Nasdaq. We're going to have to fly blind, especially when one is halting to no end. Let's just count the halts for you know what in giggles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halts. All of them upside. Some 10. 110, I should say, mostly 5. So expect it to open up after 5, but we are on the way to $30. Let's see if $30 ends up being any sort of resistance. 20 certainly was not. 234% in the Ville of Green. But there goes GCTS, and we're taking prints on this one into the $0.50. Let me wet the beak over here at 53. Get it, GCTS. We're waiting now at 50. We're waiting now at 57s and 62s. Let's go. This one's looking good. 56. Can we get into 57? We go. Can we cross? There it is into 58. Looking for continuation now into the 60s. Good look here. And this one, it caught my attention because it was a mother of all rounded bottoms. And it certainly had resistance at $5, Ram. Because we saw that one reject earlier right around 7:15. So we are now officially above the pre-market high. That double top at 7:15, 7:20. We cleared that. Now, here's the deal. You know how I feel about these $0.50 resistance levels where, we never really clear them that cleanly until we're, a good amount past them. So 58 to me is not clean enough. Let's see what we get. Now it's 59 high of day, looking for more. So we got the beak wet there at 58. We're waiting now at 61. Good look, good look. Into 59 we go. That's another new high. Let's go ahead and set up now. You know where I'm going now. We're going to put one other print in the 60s. But if I'm going to wait in the 60s, Joey, it's compulsory.
It's not going to be at that level, is it?
Well, it's of course it is.
Oh.
But we're going to put a couple of outs in the 60s, okay?
All right.
So we're waiting now at 62 and then 69, looking for continuation now on GCTS, looking fantastic. Semiconductor name, but I care very little about what this does and care much more about the intraday technicals, as I'm not falling in love with this name. I don't really care what it does, okay? Some of you may find that off-putting. That's the nature of intraday trading. Into 61 we go. We get the print into 61, Joey.
Yes,
We're
sir.
looking for 69er now.
Oh.
Let's see if this one wants to weasel up. It's showing me 62. Good strength on this one, but no continuation. 63, 64. All right, the breakout is on now. Let's see. Can we? You know what? I'm not even going to wait at 69.
Oh, that's crazy.
No. We're going to go ahead and wait at 75, Joseph Options.
Okay.
This guy's like blasphemy, right? So let's see what we can get here. Now, I'd ideally like to get a little bit more. So let's see if we can dip down into the 50s. We dip down into the 50s, Joey. We know that we rejected 50s earlier. So I'm probably going to look to add into the 50 level. Shout out Cy Stam. Yeah, I don't know why Streamlabs held back your message there. All you were doing was putting out a number. I think you should be entitled to put out whatever number you so choose. Anyway, moving back now to TCGL. It looks like this one will be a 10-minute halt. It's 11:11, and this one still has an open. So let's keep an eye out on this one. Again, we're going to have to fly blind on TCGL as it is on the MX network, and we won't know what the theoretical auction price is. Boys, what's the ticker for the IPO so I can put it on there, please? YSS on the NYSE, right? Thank you very much. So as the boys were talking about this morning, we do have an IPO. It's space related, and I mean, come on. You don't have to be a crazy trader to know that space very, very much in vogue at the moment. Whether you're talking about ASTS, you're talking about Rocket Labs, oh yeah, I forgot about that. $1.5 trillion possible valuation for SpaceX this year. Insane. Needless to say, space is in vogue, and that's why we're going to be looking at this one today. The theoretical auction price showing $38 at the moment. Let's take a quick look to see what the imbalance locator is showing us about said new IPO. Let's go ahead and change this one, Joey. We're going to go from the Nasdaq into the NYSE, and then we're going to do a little bit of ordering here. Let's see what paired volume looks like. Paired volume, YSS, and there she is right there. We have a neutral imbalance with an order, size order there, 15,800 and 15,860 shares. We've paired over 1 million shares so far. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Again, neither buy side nor sell side, so apparently it's neutral at the moment. YSS, the one we're talking about right now, and we're going to keep an eye out on that one for when it opens. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the side chart, Joey, so that when it does open, we kind of have a little bit of forewarning there. All right, moving back now to GCTC. It's zagging, 164 high, dipping down now into 158. Let me give you some technicals on this one. Obviously, we know the half dollar will be a possible area of support. I'm talking about the $1.50, but below that we have 144 to 145. That's a 10 EMA on the 5. I also see a flat top break on the 1 in and around 140. Let me make my case to you guys over here. Peter's here. Yeah, so, dude, it's freaking me out, these charts. What's going on with them today? What's going on? All right, so GCTC, I see a flat top break at around 140. So that will also be another interesting level for me. If it picks up, if it dips down into there, I'm going to be looking to pick it up. Joey.
All right, guys. Yeah, sorry, Fluffy Hippo. I swore you got that email. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it just didn't.
Fluffy.
Yeah, someone didn't CC through. I don't know what's going on yet, but the memo was sent to everyone. All right, guys. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. Once again, that is going to be SLV, and you can see we're starting to head in towards the volume-weighted average price. Somewhat of a rebound here in the overall market as well. We're not going to get too crazy and ahead of ourselves, saying it's going to be a full-on recovery. Let's see if we can break the volume-weighted average price first. I think that's going to be a key level in which we want to keep an eye out for. Now, as for Tesla, guys, same thing. You're getting a rebound there and in META. What has Microsoft been up to? We'll pull that up and see if there's any opportunity. Oh, yeah, okay, I just typed in meta. So I know Neil was talking about muscle memory. For me, when I type in the M, it just goes automatically to META. But now MSFT, no strength here whatsoever. So all the way down to $422. I mean, we were trading at $452 before the open, and then substantially higher even last night. So a good opportunity and a good continuation if you are short this name. $484. That's a hefty haircut if you ask me, already down 12%. Let's take a look at this name from a daily perspective as well. I mean, guys, like we talked about this for quite some time. Look what happens. Like, okay, yeah, cool, sick. All this was fun and games, right? Exactly. This was all fun and games until it wasn't. And then sure enough, you give back the majority, you're heading into this gap. And we see this time and time again. It doesn't matter how, like, Microsoft is going to be just fine, in my opinion, and we're going to get more into the numbers, obviously, later on throughout the day. But look at this. So you go on this nice, exuberant move for quite some time from May all the way until August. So you get a couple of months. And then you do absolutely nothing once again for a couple of months. And then, boom, clean flush to the downside. So no matter how strong the name is, the market, for some reason, will always make you pay. And what would I get? What am I getting at here?
What are you getting?
The exact same thing with Google, right? Like, eventually, you're going to start to see a hefty pullback, and that's why I have no issues whatsoever with sitting on my hands. Where is that next level going to be? Who knows? I'm not going to say we're going to fall all the way down to 208. That would be absolutely disastrous, but mid 200s, I like our chances there. So GOOGL might potentially come back into the downside at some point. At some point, don't forget that, guys. Wait for that earnings report.
There goes GCTS into the high of the day. We went the beak at 76. Into 79 it goes. GCTS is him right now, okay? Big boy move right through that 150 like it doesn't even matter. What do we have there, Joey? We had 145, and we wet the beak there at 177, 176, whatever it was. Keeping an eye on this one, getting a little extended now, looking for continuation, possibly into 2. Now, what I want to see is, are there going to be any aggressive sellers? So what I'm flipping to on my top screen, as you guys know, I keep that 5-second chart, that shorter term time frame on the top screen, so I can kind of spot any obvious areas of support or resistance locally. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on right now. But I did weasel into a new trade, Dusty, okay? DUST, again, on the MX network in at 65, looking, of course, you know where, 69, and then we're waiting for 74. This is a nice hold off the volume weighted average price on the Dusty one. But you know what? You never really know with these ones, because this one looked like a buy program. There was nary a red candle the entire morning, obviously bucking the trend with the market. And then a couple of red candles come in, and they come in at 11 o'clock. Well, why? Well, if you've seen one, you've seen a lot of them, right? And a lot of these algorithms, these buy programs that are set to accumulate positions, well, they shut off at around midday. And that typically means price reversion, mean reversion, whatever you want to call it. And so we have to be accounting for that. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to lose a VWAP. It just means it may hang around at VWAP until either the buy program gets turned back on or other buyers step in. So going to keep a close eye here on Dusty, and I'm going to give it to the mid-50s to see what situation is. Back to GCTS. Ugly topping tail candle coming in into 179 high day, dipping down into 166. We're about to break current bar low. Current bar low, well, if the platform was operating in the way that it's supposed to, my platform, not the company's platform over here. Yeah, I know, right? I know who's around. Can you imagine, right? 165 current bar low. We're about to lose that current bar low right now. So 164, we end up turning red on this candle. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. The 10 EMA on the 5 is kind of adjusted a little bit now from the mid 140s into actually 150. So right away, I'm looking at that mid 150s level for a possible dip trade on GCTS. Like we always say, though, with these small cap gappers, these topping tail candles are not the end all and be all. These are intraday trades, meaning what? That means that people are going to be taking profits at technical levels. Sometimes those aggressive profit takers end up manifesting in topping tail candles. We've seen this so many times, right, where the topping tail candle comes in, and then 1-2 candles later, another high, an intraday high gets put in. So it's not the same thing as seeing a topping tail candle on a Meta, on a Tesla, on an Apple. Oh, that's what I'll submit to you guys there, okay? So we're going to keep my eye on GCTS. We're keeping my eye on Dust as well.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, let's take a look at one of my favorite tickers, something that I'm going to be looking to get involved in and see how it's holding up today. If anybody can guess what it is, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It has now struck a new deal. It premieres not at 10 o'clock anymore, but at 9 o'clock, okay? And one more hint. The CEO is bald like myself.
Brian Armstrong.
No. That's going to go with TKO Holdings, Sharif. We are talking about the UFC and TKO Holdings.
Come on,
so they're going to get Brian Armstrong. I mean, okay. No, I mean, what from Brian Armstrong would premiere from 10 o'clock to 9 o'clock?
I don't know, man. Maybe there's a crypto show that they're going to launch on Coinbase app. I don't know, man. Leave me alone.
I mean, glow up, Vlad. Maybe you can start to follow the people. That's going to be TKO Holdings, guys. I'm going to look to get involved in this by a little bit. We're down 11%. We're starting to get somewhat of a rebound. Obviously, big-time liquidity issues. So with that being said, you're going to see a spread within this name. But I like our chances here on TKO. If you zoom out, and even head over to a longer-term time frame, like Obi likes to do, like the 3-month and the 6-month. And I don't typically go, but we'll do that, man. We're gonna go to the monthly here. Oh yes, we survived, Sharif. Yes, all right, we like seeing that. I mean, steady up and to the right, guys. I mean, from December or from 2014, this name has been absolutely phenomenal. We'll go to 20s, been on a monstrous run, so 513%, a nice steady, and they offer a pretty good dividend as well too. So we'll keep our eyes out on that, guys. Volume. I mean, my transaction's relatively light, right? Like, I mean, for the past couple of days, you've only seen me trade a couple of names. We were short Starbucks the other day. We were short AAL on Monday. So, I mean, I'm just looking for that primetime opportunity. And if you get in at the right place, it allows you to be in those all-day trenders. And that's what I'm trying to find here on silver. How we react. Is it going to be a full recovery? I don't think so. We talked about the volume by time profile. And let's go over it once again. Look at the increase. We're slowly starting to cool down here now. Are we going to get that curl over right at VWAP and then make potentially that second leg lower? What I want to see is a couple more 5-minute prints. We hang around in this consolidation. We don't breach through this level, and then maybe we can get that slow curl over once again in SLV. But as for the TQs, right back at VWAP, but here is VWAP holding price and hugging price relatively tight. It looks like a moving average here today, Sharif, like the 20 or the 50 or something along those lines. So keep an eye out on that. Can Tesla breach? Maybe, possibly. Only time will tell. We'll head back over to one of the other big names that reported, and that is going to be MSFT. No rebound, lots of sellers still completely engaged. So what do you want to do? I think just go with the flow. Don't make your life complicated. And guess what? With that being said, I think you're putting yourself in the right place at the right time. Regardless if it gets somewhat of a bounce, who cares? Trend down, go with the trend, try to find yourself a short entry, and that's what I'm doing here with silver as it's breaking through that 101.42 level, and the volume is slowly starting to pick up on the LTF. What is LTF, you may ask? The lower time frame. And what time frame am I referring to? That is going to be the 1 minute. So, oh my God, wow, this thing just dumped. Dude, this thing just, yeah, my days, brother. It just dumped 20 cents just like that, cracking through support. So the 5-minute consolidation that I was looking for, another 10 minutes or so, isn't happening as the momentum is definitely starting to pick up once again, and that is going to be the southeast on SLV.
All right, here we go. We got back into GCTS. Not a bad entry over here. I didn't get bottom. I'm talking about 165. We ended up getting 175, scalped up into 184. It did stop me out. I mean, I put my stop at current bar low. That was probably not the right thing to do. Let's see if we can get back in. This one's still showing strength. GCTS looking real good. Dilly-dallying here above the $0.75, right around that 4/5. But it does look like it wants to take out current bar high and intraday high, mind you, which is $1.84 separately. I'm involved in the dusty one at 65. Just got the print there at 69. Waiting now for 74s. There's 71. Not a bad look for the dusty one over here. And we're going to also look above that high day. The high day is 483, so we're going to put 485 to see if we can clear that. And then we'll report back to you guys on that one. Back to GC, right back into the high day. Paper-handed trade by me. I should have definitely been holding that. I had my stop too close. I should have given it to prior bar low, which would have taken me down into 164, 165. But that's all right. We'll look to weasel back in over here. But I am seeing a couple of topping tilt candles manifest on the current candle and the prior candle. So that's telling me that there's either aggressive profit taking at this level or the shorts are really eyeing this area for an entry. Hard to tell. which is which, but we're going to look to see if we can get above that 184 and what the situation is going to be. I want to bring in the side. Oh, is that the from Eddie?
Oh, wow.
At least you brought something with you that's nice this time instead of being mean and indifferent all the time. Look at her. See how indifferent she is? She just walks away.
I like this.
I told her yesterday, bro. I'm like, told her it's her secret weapon. Oh,
Are you good? Whoa.
very nice.
Are you going to have one?
I'm not, no. I had half a cookie this morning.
Okay. Damn, Eddie. The Krispy Kreme. You know the boys are going to be indulging in that. And everybody's going to, oh, man, the aroma of that is absolutely insane.
Where is the Krispy Kreme around here anyway?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure there's one in Kensington.
Was there?
One, yeah, right by Kensington.
Well, you would know. Yeah.
I mean,
All right,
Wingstop.
here we go. Oh, baby.
Look
Oh, we're
look
going to
at
have
that,
to have
man.
one.
That is absolutely.
We're going to have one.
Oh, this smell.
This
Get
looks
that
really
out
good.
of here.
Get that
No,
garbage, Eddie.
it's not
This ain't
garbage.
garbage. Thank you very much, Eddie. Very kind of you, man. All class, Eddie. We really do appreciate it.
The distributor,
Thank you
man.
so much. Yeah, you can take them now. Thank you, Rem.
Give the boys some here. Let's get this literal garbage out of here.
Half a cookie, dude. Another 200 squats, fluffsters. Yeah, I know. You know.
Yeah, they are.
I had a guest at my house on the weekend.
And
they brought cookies.
Oh, snap.
So there were some left over on the kitchen counter, Joey. Saw it on the way to work this morning.
This morning?
This morning after brushing my teeth.
Yeah, great.
Like 10, 15 minutes after brushing my teeth.
I think this is really
I'm just gonna
important.
have
What kind
one
of
there.
cookie?
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip.
All right. Another
Eddie, oh my goodness. Sorry they only had one flavor for some reason. Eddie, you're not allowed to say sorry,
what
brother.
Are you apologizing for?
Yeah, please. Thank you very much, Eddie. Brother, that's very kind of you. We're very appreciative. Obviously, you know, I don't even know. I hate to be put in these positions where I'm like, you know, thanking people. I feel awkward. But yeah.
Why? You don't want to thank him?
I don't know how to say thank you without feeling awkward. It's just
okay.
problem
All
I have.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
my,
these are
my life.
Yeah, thank you. We'll try to make it a little bit more easy there. Thank you very much. Yeah, Eddie, it goes a long way, man. Those things are smelling absolutely insane. I don't know what it is, man. A little bit of sugar for me, I feel like it goes straight to the gut. It's just a weird
You're going to say it goes to your legs.
But okay, I get what you tried to do there. Just bought BM&R, $29, $3.20 calls, 4 of them. Thoughts? I don't like BM&R. All right, Excel card. I don't like BM&R. I don't like MSTR, and I don't like the crypto space right now. I don't know. I'm just giving it to you, and I'm just being 100% honest with you. That's as simple as it can be, right? Like, look what the crypto space is doing. We have IBIT down to $47.
Take it from someone substantially out of the money.
Yeah, I mean, and just like giving back an insane amount of unrealized gains. I'll pull up Bitcoin for you guys, and this is why I don't like it, and I've talked about this on multiple occasions. It's just the lengthy consolidations, right? Like, I don't know, everyone seems to be flocking to actual physical gold. Now we have this downtrend that's officially being broken here at 84,000 on Bitcoin. I haven't been paying too much mind to it, but once again, this is when first the inception of IBIT. We consolidate for how long? 8 months. And then sure enough, we make a move, we pull back the majority of that move, we make an additional leg higher, and then now we're starting to head towards some key support levels. I don't like the crypto space right now. Will it rebound? Hopefully eventually, because it's one of my largest holdings, and it will remain so. But if it does pull back to 40 or 50K, there's a lot of people gonna be in a lot of trouble. And why I don't like BM&R here, well, look at this. We talk about this often, and I do it as well, too, like with Netflix and some other names. Why are we trying to make our lives complicated buying things that are already down 85%? Like, I get it. It seems value. When there's blood in the streets, you want to buy. But if you're heading towards some key support levels, do you truly think that this thing is going to bounce anytime soon? My opinion is going to be no. Can some form of catalyst step into the crypto space? Absolutely. But that's kind of just throwing up what my grandpa used to say is wish in one hand and do something in the other and see what feels first. Let the catalyst come into play and then make your move. Stop trying to catch these falling knives, because speaking from experience in myself, like Netflix and other names, it's just better to wait for that trend to break and then get involved after that.
We're going to Adair.
We're going to talk here. I mean, I may as well do crypto while I'm here. It's 11:30, so we're going to talk about Bitcoin. You guys also were just talking about it, so I think it tees it up really nicely. Bitcoin obviously quite weak, and as Joe mentioned, nearing that 84,000 level. The real reason I want to talk to you guys, though, is U.S. President Donald Trump just posted on Truth Social saying that he had a very productive telephone conversation with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, saying that it went well for both countries, and it sounds like they're going to talk soon. So maybe keep an eye on some autos, names like Ford and GM. Looks like there is some kind of U.S.-Mexico chatter agreement happening right now. I also want to talk here about Robinhood while we're here discussing crypto, because there's an interesting Robinhood catalyst yesterday, right after the bell. Bloomberg reporting that Robinhood is going to be apparently vying for a key retail role in the SpaceX IPO. Now, we have no details on that yet, but either way, if this is in fact the case, that's pretty huge for HOOD. So HOOD, again, a crypto adjacent name that's certainly going to be on watch with that catalyst yesterday after the bell, which we brought you during the earnings aftermarket show. We're going to do another earnings aftermarket show today, so don't miss it. Also interesting that Trump posts that Truth Social post. We were expecting a cabinet meeting from him. It has not started yet as far as I can tell, so the second that starts, I'll keep you guys posted. I have the stream. I'm just waiting for it to go live. Back to you.
Yeah, I was reading about that this morning. This is going to be super interesting. So Robinhood actually wants to get you the IPO price, not the actual opening price. So you're going to be able to subscribe at the IPO stage, which I think is fantastic for retail. It's a long time coming. I don't understand why we haven't been able to do it, because we're not sophisticated investors and we need to be babysat by regulators who need to look out for our own best interest, because we can't.
And why would they want to make it that easy on the average individual?
Pardon me? I know, yeah. I mean? Why would they do that, Joey? That's crazy.
Why would we give you potentially the best price possible?
No. You're asking too much, bro. You're just asking too much, okay? Like, I don't know. You got to temper your expectations a little bit. No, but I really do like this, right? It's the first step. We'll probably see it from more brokerages, probably ours. I'm assuming if Robinhood starts doing that.
Involved with that.
Exactly.
I mean, Vlad's trying to bring you a lot of things first as well, too, right? Obviously, the tokenization. Yeah, tokenization. I mean, he's working. He already gave people. I think he might be the first to do this as well, too. But we know that it only happened in Europe, Sharif, is that access to private markets. Right, so you had the ability to get into the SpaceX and into OpenAI via tokenization. So Vlad doing a lot here. I think that's going to be good for this name. Gaurav, congratulations on that trade. I know that my guy has been trading it. Considering, speaking of the devil, let's pull it up here. We may as well, right? Considering. I mean, we broke that $100 mark. So there's a lot of selling going on right now. And I mean, there's so many charts that look identical. So let's pull this up. You get that $100. You get a nice little pop, not quite back to the volume weighted average price. But look what it is. Like, for me, this is Condor Nation. For all my options traders, this is Condor Nation. And I'm going to pull up the Qs in momentarily. But I wouldn't be surprised if Robinhood starts to break. It doesn't matter what the name is. We were talking about it in Microsoft as well, too. You go on a 412% run, you're going to see somewhat of a hefty pullback. The market is just going to be able to just hold on and wait significantly longer. You think it's going to rebound? Well, guess what? It's probably going to take significantly longer than what you're anticipating. Now, as for the Nasdaq, we almost touch it. We do. Maybe it's like by a couple of pennies. The Qs here, you get that all-time high, or you run right into it, but now you're starting to pull in. So if you stay within this range after the mega cap tech names report, and you just happen to be fluctuating between that 640 level and that 580, this is the Condor life, right? Like, you're going to have heightened premiums, and you're going to have a range in which you can just set and make your trade based off of. You don't have to be directionally biased, and that's when you can run into a little bit of trouble. It's like, hey, direction. Well, guess what? Eastward is a direction as well, too. And with the power of options, you have the ability to create strategies with that. And what is that strategy? That is going to be the Iron Condor. You essentially place a bet and a trade saying that I don't care what direction you go, you can go up or down, but just stay within those lines. And that's the beauty of Condor trading.
All right, I'm in feed over here. Feed above the volume weighted average price, putting higher lows, higher highs, looking for continuation. Got a beak wetter at 18, in at 13. Looking for that $0.25 clearing. There seemed to be a lot of price action earlier on, in and around the fifth of a dollar to the $0.25. It lost VWAP, ended up holding 350, reclaims VWAP. It also kind of started breaking trend. Remember, we've been really using these trend lines a lot, especially to be able to gauge when the downtrend. Oh, Jesus Christ. when the downtrend is broken. It seems to have, but you never really know with these ones. So I'm giving it the current bar low. Prior bar low, in case you want to gauge there, is 387. 387 is prior bar low. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on, looking for that move into that quarter of a dollar, $0.75. I've also tightened up the stop a little bit here on DUST, DUST. It's hanging out at the volume weighted average price, but it's actually using the 10 EMA on the 5 as resistance here, where it had been using it as support. So I'm unsure kind of how to feel about this one, but I'm going to continue to hold steady until I get stopped out. I've kind of put my stops in place, and so come what may. GCTS feels like it might be setting up here at the 10 EMA on the 5, prior bar low, a new candle just opened, 153. I'm gonna be looking for a 162, 163 breakout. That would take us above prior bar. And if that's the case, then it's a 10 EMA hold and a move above prior bar. That probably lures me back into the trade. So we're gonna continue to watch GCTS to see exactly what's happening there. And then Jaguzman, yo, buddy, look at RPGL. Sure, absolutely, buddy, I will.
All right, buddy.
Let me just hold on.
Buddy.
RPGL, what do we got over here? Okay, it's gonna take 20 minutes to load, so we're gonna have to leave that one for a second. We'll get to it once it's done loading. All right, GCTS is breaking above prior bar. Let's give this one the old college try, and we'll see what we can get on this one. Maybe a move back into the mid 170s if we're really lucky. Then it takes out that 184. So packing the patience in at 63, showing me 65s, looking for continuation. There's 67 now. Can we get a little bit higher at 69? There it is, doesn't cross, so we don't get the print. Back down into 67, 68 showing up again. So we're gonna have to pack the patience over here. If it doesn't, if it keeps rejecting at 69, I'll just take the print there and we'll cancel it. Perfect. Let's move up a little bit more now into 74 and then into 82. So we'll see what this one has to offer. There it goes right back into 68. Look, let's see for a 70 print now on GCTS. Trying to give this room, but there's a seller here. Selling at 69, now they're selling at 68. Into 69 we go, but aggressive price action here south of the 70 penny area. Unusual, let's see. Not too much posted on the gateways in the way of size, so most of this is an iceberg order. And you can just see because there's size coming in on the level 2, all the while it's green on the time and sales, meaning these are buy orders that are coming in. Well, what the hell are they buying if nothing is being taken off the level 2? That is your hint that this is a hidden seller. Look at the monster hidden seller there at 69. If he ends up getting out of the way, this is going to get clipped to the high side. It's just about who has more buying power and conviction at this level. So 69 rejects, no clearance on that level. We'll have to pack the patience there. So we're in 3. Did I get stopped at a feed? Oh, that sucks. No, it's holding trend. I'm going back in. All right, we're going back into feed, and we're just going to give it the prior bar low, 4-4. All right, we'll just actually give it a bit more room than that. So there we go. Give it, yeah, down into here. Allow me a second. There we go. Hopefully we won't feel too bad about that feed thing. Sorry guys, I see the tags coming in the chat, but I got 3 positions, so I won't be able to look at it too much at the moment until some of these resolve. So packing the patience here on GCTS, looking for that move back into the 70s, also still holding the dusty one, which is having a lot of trouble clearing 70 pennies. Not really sure what the hell is going on and why the volume's dropping off markedly like that. So that's my situation, Joey. What are you looking at, brother?
Yeah, I got Carvana. I'm curious if Adaira's involved with this name here to the short side, or maybe Obi or something.
I tried. I could not ever get filled where I wanted. At one point, I did have the short. I got wicked out, and I just have avoided it.
Oh. Yeah, fair enough. I was in it. I just didn't hold, man. This was, full disclosure, this was a massive bag hold, and I was on timer. I told Gorev this, and I'm like, you know what? Even though I do believe it was a short, I was in a little bit too early. And I mean, if you look at it, 425, that'd be $10 right there, but that shoulda, coulda, woulda, and what if history. So we just got to move on and look for that next opportunity. We have Tesla slowly starting to curl over once again with the inability to breach the volume weighted average price. But I'm telling you guys right now, I'm starting to see the consolidation zone that I want here in SLV. If we do decide to curl over, I'm going to start to participate to the short side. This may take a couple of attempts, but be patient, allow that turtle shell type price action to form, and then sure enough, we can maybe take that leg lower. I want to use this as an example. Was it Starbucks? No, I think AAL may be a little bit of a cleaner one, but it's identical. So let's wait. I can pull it up on my. I have it in my logs, but let's go over to
guys.
it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry,
yeah.
I wanna let everybody know.
Okay, let's pull this up here, and this was from Monday. We'll head over to Monday, but this is what I'm getting at. You get these pops, and then you slowly start to curl over once again. So same thing in the same narrative. You get those curl overs, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. This is a higher time frame, and if we head over to a 5-minute, you'll be able to see it more distinctly. So again, boom, you get that pop into VWAP, consolidate for 15, 20 minutes, and then you take that additional leg lower. You get the retest, and then you break through the key support levels and put in a new low of the day, and then eventually it's just an all-day fader. All right. Shout out to I don't know what, but I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to name drop or anything along those lines there, Sharif. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a kid I played hockey with back in the day. His name was Fader.
Fader.
Yeah. Well, his last name was Fader. Yeah. Brutal.
I feel like you may not like him that much.
He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't a bad guy. Yeah.
You were gonna make fun of him though, Joey?
Well, I said fade the fader, essentially, is what we were getting at here. So, Bang, what do you got going on?
We're doing it live on feed, my boy. There we go. We got 11s on feed. We just wet the beacon, the 40s. Let's go feed. Wow, did you guys see that price spike up? 483 high into 69. Boom, into feed. It's 100% up on the day. Good trade over here, 483 high. We end up taking prior high at 1010, which was 468, so it's a 483 high. Good look here for feed. Let's see if this one's got the juice to get into $5 right now. Up 100%, couple of trades on this one. Let's see if we can get back in here, Joey Options. So packing the patience on FEED. This is like the only one that we're trading that's actually on the NQ. Let's keep an eye out here. So levels, let me give you the levels. Current bar low, 420. Current bar high, high day, 483. Prior bar low, 398, essentially 4. So if you were to get in here and you want to base it on prior bar low, you're looking at 50 pennies worth of risk. The 10 EMA on the 5 is also jiving with prior bar low. It's right around that whole $4 level. So keep your eye there. And then separately, got to go back over here to GCTS. This one still has the seller at 69 that we can't shake. So this is a higher low, but currently a lower high. This could be trouble here unless there's a big buyer that's going to shake this 69 seller. And I haven't seen anything really come off the gateway. In fact, more size has come onto the gateway at 69. So that's going to be trouble there. DUST, we're a couple of pennies in the money on this one, but this one is boring me to death. Super, super slow, even though it's doing volume, mind you. Like each candle here has like 1.5 million shares. It doesn't really look like it's trading that way. Very thickly traded. Look at the size, pardon me, posted at these gateways. Like each level has like several thousand lots. So a little bit unusual here. What is this, man? What's the market cap and the float on this piece of thing? All right, 7.91 million market cap, so it's tiny. What the hell, bro?
Dusty.
Hold on. It's a gold ETF, says Katina, man. Ah, that's why it's okay. Before taxes, 200%, the inverse opposite of the day performance of the global miners. Yeah, I don't understand why there's so much size, but the point is there's thousands of lots. Look at the size at 69, guys. I haven't seen anything like this in a while. Okay, so we're gonna wet the beak here in case this thing loses in a hurry. Back now to what's it called? GCTS, still zigging and zagging here. I'm like 1 penny in the money. I don't like this one, I gotta tell you. Even though it's above the 10 EMA, it does not look good. Eddie sending another 10 memberships. This guy's doing it live.
What did this guy hit? Like
he hit something. That's fantastic.
Let me know. Did you put it all on black or red?
So if you got to, in order to get one of these free memberships, you have to be active in the chat. If you're not, it won't trigger your name. But here's who got it. We got Kirk Cross, 26. You got one. Chad Canals. You got one. Supplice Oliver. You got one. Raman Boo. Gambling Guru. We got Amy in LA. She got one as well. Marcus Shanlin. Let me just move up again. Sorry.
This is my guy,
Marcus
Bizbot.
Shanlin. We got Matt. All right, Matt, you got one. Ayo Adam and Evelina. All you guys got one, and I'm going to take this opportunity to let you know that you're able to get my morning note every single morning. It's sent bright and early, right around like 10 a.m. or sorry, 10 a.m., sorry, 8 a.m., usually a little bit before. Let me flip over here to show you exactly where to go and to get it. You just go super simple to the YouTube Trader TV Live homepage. There she is right there. You click posts. and then just move on down. It'll say members only in that green rectangle right there. Hit the read more, and there's the Google Drive link. And there you go. Be bright and early, right before we go live, 10 minutes before we go live. Today's note, Joey, 16 pages. Well, it has to be because we had so many different earnings, right? So
absolutely.
We have to make sure that we were all covered there. But thank you again, man. Very kind of you to gift memberships like that, and obviously the donuts, the super chats. It's been quite ridiculous.
It's been
thank you very much.
And it's not even Christmas. Like what in the day? Another super chat. All right, no, I'm long on Sydney Sweeney new lingerie. So is Sharif. Sharif is big time long on
Siren, Joey.
Siren.
It's sirens.
How is that donut there, Fabian?
How do you like it? Good?
Yeah.
Glazed?
Damn. All right, man. All right. Whenever we're ready. I think Sharif maybe should be doing this one here. Here is a medical device company to keep an eye on. Enview Medical, ticker Feed, F-E-E-D. Sharif has been crushing it today. The company designs and markets a guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the U.S. today. The majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly, leading to unavoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube placement, which can improve patient safety and streamline how care teams work. What stands out to me is the growing appetite for this platform throughout the U.S. hospitals and how their tech fits right into clinical needs. Today, they are already in 38 hospitals. As hospitals push for safer, more efficient solutions, Enview looks like a company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out on that one. So, guys, this is what I'm talking about. We're going to head over to Adair here momentarily, but man, this is setting up how I wanted to. If we continuously reject the volume-weighted average price, if I can post up at the top end of the range, then sure enough, we might get a little bit of a move lower. Consolidation, breakdown, slowly starting to form that turtle show. But something that is going oppo right now, Sharif, that is META, Meta Platforms, now back up to 727 as as Microsoft looks like it wants to head towards the low of the day. Are we ready for Adara?
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
We do have U.S. President Donald Trump. He has started his cabinet meeting. He already talked about how the Dow has hit 52 record highs. Unclear over what period, I guess since the start of his presidency. He also said the S&P 500 above 7,000. He's saying they could be working in a bipartisan way to avoid the shutdown. So guys, he's starting and it's coming in strong. Keep an eye here as well on Uber, Lyft, and GeoOGL. You can see here the bit of a pull down there in Uber. Google not really moving. We'll take a look at Lyft. Seeing a report that the U.S. is opening a probe after a Waymo self-driving vehicle struck a child near a school. It caused minor injuries. The child is alive, but either way here, looks like the U.S. is opening a probe into this autonomous driving. Again, unclear who exactly is going to be impacted, but that's going to be on watch. Back to you.
Yeah, that's on the morning note, by the way. If you want more details on that, go into the morning note. It's never good, of course, when an autonomous vehicle hits a child, but the obviously. But the indications are, at least from the initial data, that a human probably would have not reacted as quickly as the autonomous vehicle. So go in, read the data, see kind of what you think about the whole thing. But apparently this thing pulled over immediately once it hit the child and called 911 on its own. I'm talking about the Waymo vehicle, all automated, all autonomous. Interesting. That's all I can say there. Let's keep an eye here on GCTS, breaking back now into that mid 170. So we took out that 69 seller. Let's see if we can get back into the 184. That is the high of the day. We're still putting in lower highs. By the way, feed coming back down in now. Look for that hold, possibly at around $4 to 407. We breached prior bar low, which was 420. Current bar low, 418. We're showing 23s now. Get in here, give it to current bar low, or you can be a bit more patient, wait for 406 to 4, in and around that level. That's what I'm going to be waiting for myself. And then Dusty, man, this one is just, you know what, Joey? Every time I get out of these ones that do nothing but don't break down below key levels, I regret it because it'll end up taking it out at a time that I didn't expect. So I'm going to kind of insist that I stay into this one and then let it manifest in whatever way it ends up manifesting in. Sorry, just give me a second here to put my chat up. Shout out to Tam Panda. What is going on with CATX? What was the catalyst? No idea. Let's have a look. So, CATX, what is this? Perspective Therapeutics, radiopharmaceutical development, $250 million market cap, up 31% on the day. It's not loading up on my chart, so I can't even tell you. I'm not seeing anything in terms of a news catalyst. Nothing is in on my blotter, so I'm not really sure what to tell you about that. But let's look at it on the side chart over here. Do you know if the Waymo car's computer called 911 or a human? It said, look, Ichiro, I know you're a premium member, so read the note. I'm pretty sure it. Look, I'm not 100. I don't want to say 100% that it was the car itself without human intervention.
We'll get that, Adam.
Without human intervention, calling 911, but that's the way I understood it to be. I mean, that's my understanding, but double check that information, make sure it's all kosher there. I'm just waiting for this one to load up. Okay, so CATX, is it halted up? No, it's not halted up, it's just not doing any volume. What's the volume on this? 4.4 million shares traded on the day. All right, this is not bad, man. This is not bad at all. Who mentioned this? Oh yeah, it was Tam Panda. Not a bad one at all, brother. We're gonna put this one on the side chart over here. Look, it's looking fantastic. Take off ZSL, put CATX on there. Good look, good look. I'm gonna want something more around that 310, 315. If it comes in, if it doesn't come into there, I'm looking at 3 1/4 where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. That's what I would say about CATX. Otherwise, I'm not gonna jump in at the breakout level. But yeah, good call out on that one. Thank you for CATX. Going back to feed over here. Here it comes in possibly prior bar lows 418. I want to see if it wants to hold up here. It's got higher lows but lower highs here on FEED. I want to see if it wants to hold up, and then I might get back into this one for another price spike up. Again, let me see here, 418, right? We're showing, what are we showing? 23s. Here comes, wow, it lost it in a hurry. Oh, wow. Okay, so feed. Good thing I didn't get into this one. Into $4. Current bar low, lost $4, $3.98. Right back above 4 we go, though. Into 410, 411, but it's an unbroken lower high and lower low. So I'm not jumping in here, Joey. What are you looking at, my man?
Man, I hit the wrong hockey here. So we're slightly, I didn't mean to do this, guys. I told you I was thinking short here on SLV. So we're involved in a little bit to the long side. I mean, if it continues to break down, I'll just hop out. But that was definitely an accident on my behalf. Just hit the wrong hockey there. So a little bit of a fat finger on that one. So we'll be patient to see if it's going to work out. No need to panic just now, just in case it does want to rally a little bit. All right, bang. We'll take it. Bang. And we'll, okay. I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. Mistakes. I mean, I made a mistake the other day that worked out on silver really good for the kids. So we'll take this little bounce, maybe right at some key support levels as SLV is starting to climb a little bit higher. I mean, we could take this out right now and just be patient and wait for our opportunity to come onto exactly what we're looking for. So not a little bad. We'll take a scalp. But I got to go and check this out. Our guy, Adam James, you see me write a comment on one of your new videos, brother. Congrats. Good stuff. I'm always in love with that. But our good friend, Adam James Abroad, HPN, also, hey lads, grr, please, beaten up but on the up now. Absolutely, let's take a look at that for our friend, Adam James, the fellow Canuck. Obviously, I'm extremely sarcastic. He is American. Yeah, he doesn't.
Some of his comments are very clear.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
GRRR. I mean, liquidity issues here, right? Like, we're not going to be trading this thing. The monthly looks absolutely, oh my God,
what happened, Joey?
Way. All right, from a daily, you are getting a little bit of a rebound here. So that mistake costing us largely, guys, as you can see that silver is starting to head to the downside. But back to Gorilla Technologies, it'd be tough. A lot of us on the floor here, Adam, won't be trading this just due to the fact of liquidity issues. If you head over to the higher time frames, you're still experiencing those gap ups. But a nice little rebound. You're not wrong about that. From 1475 all the way up to 1553, you're going to get 5% just like that. And the daily is bouncing off lows as well. So $10 was that December low, and then now you're up 50% from that mark. But one thing to note as well, too, my friend, is that the downtrend is still fully intact. Once this snaps, then I think you might get a little bit of a green light. I highly doubt that you're going to be looking to swing this. Oh, it has snapped. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's broken there. Good opportunity to get on the backside of the trend with GER. I think you're putting your money where your mouth is there, Adam. Adair, what do you have for us?
I'm talking about his visit to Detroit automakers recently, saying that Ford is doing really well, and that he enjoyed his visit to the factory, that they stopped them from having to close down a factory. GM also trading, not really trading higher here, but he's mentioning GM as well. So a bit of a move here. GM and Ford both being mentioned here by U.S. President Trump during his cabinet meeting. Back to you.
All right, good stuff. All right, so yeah, there it is. There goes silver. Oh, just that little mistake costing us big time right there. I'm glad that we got out of the long off of that little pop, but you've seen my game plan, right? Like, we're going to wait for this consolidation. We had that 10 minutes or so that we were looking for, and then now we got that curl over and heading towards some key support levels there in SLV. One more bounce, and if we fail to establish a new high, then that's going to be my green light to go to the short side. Whether it works or not, only the market will know, but I believe I'll just be putting myself in the right place at the right time. But META, right back to the top side there, Sharif, $728. I wouldn't be surprised if we push 730 on Meta. Nice inverted hammer print as well, too, here on GLD. This was phenomenal. I was telling Katina, man, when I was trading this thing yesterday, man, oh man, was I ever tripping over dollars to collect pennies. And sometimes that is frustrating, but hey, you put on winning trades, you have to be happy with it. And I understand the nature of trading is, hey, you have on this, but it always should be more. Why? Because the opportunity to get more is there, so you have to try and take advantage of it.
All right, we have an announcement to make, by the way. Starting on Wednesdays from next week, and this is for everybody, but you know, most notably the small cap traders that are on the stream. If you're with us in the morning on Wednesdays, you know that every other week we have an individual from the beautiful city of Barcelona, Spain. His name is Luis Barbato, and he's been a guest on the show since before I even worked here. I used to watch him back in the day during COVID, and he was on a lot, and he was one of the people that I really looked up to for small cap trading. He's gonna be with us, with Joseph and I, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. going forward. We will be doing the small cap recap type of discussions. Now, if you know Luis, you know that he is more focused on shorting these small cap gappers. And if you've been listening to me yap for a long time, you know that I want to add shorting small cap gappers as a sort of tool in my arsenal. So I am super, super excited to have Luis come on, not least of which because he's a fellow small cap trader, but he's going to kind of show us the ropes here at how to short these bad boys. So super excited. So if you're small cap inclined or you want to learn maybe how to short these small cap gappers, maybe you're not interested in going long, then join us every Wednesday. It's going to be 1 p.m. Luis Barbato, myself, the Joey Options. Super pumped for that. And make sure, make sure you're joining us, man. And I'm super pumped about this, needless to say. All right. Dusty is starting to do good things over here. It's woken up. It's cleared the 10. It's on its way to 80. It's an 83 penny high, but I'm packing my patience on it, okay? Yeah, there you go, Farm Trader. Farm Trader's pumped about that. All right, I like it, I like it. All right, good, good. Keeping an eye here on Dusty, looking for that move into to the high of the day. I added a piece here on GCTS into the 10 EMA on the 5. It's not a great looking chart, but it's not losing trend either. So I'm trying to pack my patience here. I see a lot of bottoming tail candles, especially on the 1, which means, you know, to me, that buyers are stepping in here long right around that 10 EMA on the 5. So if enough buyers step long, maybe we'll clear some of these sellers, and then we'll actually take out some of the high of the day into 84. Separately, CATX, shout out to Tam Panda, man. What a great call out by you, brother. It only gave us one red candle pullback here on the 5. That wasn't enough for me. I was looking for a little bit of a deeper retracement. I didn't get it, so this one's going without me. But CATX, I'm going to keep my eye on this one. And by the way, another Amex stock. I don't know what the hell is going on today, but most of these small cap gappers are trading on the Amex network. That's the situation. By the way, I've said very little about TGL. Joey, look at this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. We're going on almost 50 minutes now of this stock being halted. Now, let me just double check, make sure there's not news pending. It's circuit breaker, okay, volatility, circuit breaker. So this is, it's not news pending. So I don't know why the hell this is taking so long, but maybe because it was moving in a parabolic fashion. So TCGL halted since 11:05. It looks like it's going to be maybe past noon hour before this one opens because it's 11:58 right now. So who knows exactly what the situation is. We're going to pack our patience and we're going to let you know when it does open. Separately, I want to remind everyone we have an IPO today on the NYSE, YSS. It's space related, and we know the space scene has been in vogue lately. TAP showing 38. The original IPO price was 30 to 34. It ended up being on the higher end of the range, 34. But Joey, we've seen most of these IPOs, especially the ones that have been good, above the range. So if it was 30 to 34, it would be like 38. So does that kind of give you pause a little bit, the fact that it wasn't over the range? Yes or no?
A little bit, you know what I mean? I think a lot it has to do, for me, it's the pair volume. Want to see how much participants are really starting to get involved,
That's my man.
involved with that, right?
So let's take a look at that, actually, now that you brought that up. Where is it at? Here it is. All right, so on YSS right now, we're still showing neutral. Super bizarre, and we were showing 15,860 last time as well. But the paired volume is changing. 2.4 million shares they've paired so far, but we're still seeing a neutral, neither buy nor sell side imbalance right now. So, okay, we'll keep an eye out on this one, and hey, if it changes its tune and starts showing us a little bit more data, whether buy side, sell side, maybe we'll put an order for this one. But at the moment, I don't have any. But I don't know if you guys can see, the big kahunas are at their desk, and they're going to be taking this IPO.
Oh, are they?
So yeah, there they are right there. Shout out to the OGs. They're both taking this IPO. So yeah, they don't take all the IPOs. So that says something to me, right?
Exactly.
There. That says something to me.
That says enough.
There you go, Joey.
So I have to get involved in that one. I was going to ask you, were you GTL when you were in your younger days?
What does that mean?
Gym tan laundry, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're
okay.
a gym, obviously, but you're gym tan laundry.
I never really tanned. I'm dark as it is.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
never have
my
to tan.
skin sees the sun, bro.
Yeah.
It darkens up
As
pretty
for the
quick.
laundry part, hopefully you were, I know you were part.
Dude, I'm a Sunday afternoon, late morning. I'm
right away. It's
right
routine.
away.
Yeah,
I've got to
routine,
have
throw it
all
in
my
there,
stuff
too.
ready for
Same.
Monday. I don't like waiting. And
Same
yeah.
ways. All right, guys. Yeah, I mean, there it goes. You got a little bit of a dip there in SOV to 101. Now, this is going to be a key inflection point in my opinion. 102. Let's see if that's going to hold up. If you head right to the back to the top end of this, if you head right back to the top end of this range, and then momentum picks up and you break through VWAP, then just be cautious. It might not be a short in play. Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, we're going to send it off to Adara. No Neil's lesson of the day. I know. Oh, it's right. We're sorry about that. But obviously, yeah, Neil and them have the IPO. Don't forget, we're always going to mention that. But we're going to send it off to you guys with Adara and happening now.
I'll be brief, guys, in light of the IPO, but I do think there's some things to talk about here. Nice push up in this market, at least from the lows. This is now a 1, 2, 3, 4, going in 5 green 15-minute candle streak after lots of weakness to start the day, and a lot of that driven by these Mag 7 earnings. Now, even though Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla all beat estimates across the board, Microsoft particularly was dragging the market lower, and that's not the end of Mag 7 earnings. Tonight after the bell, we're going to get Apple AAPL. They're going to be reporting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the expected release time. Let's see if they can continue to have some growth in their iPhones. They're projecting double-digit percentage growth year over year. But last year, China sales declined. SanDisk, SNDK, also reporting after the bell at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. I also want to let you guys know some Trump announcements today. Currently participating in a cabinet meeting. He's already mentioned health insurance companies, Ford, GM, and the market. So it's quite the jam-packed event. I will be covering it for you guys right here from this desk. But also, I want to let you know, 4:30 p.m., Trump making an announcement. That's all it says. Unclear what the announcement's going to be about. If I get any reports suggesting what it could be, I'll certainly keep you posted. But this is an interesting look here. Trump with an announcement at 4:30. So in addition to this cabinet meeting, could be more Trump news on watch. Back to you.
All right, guys, we're continuing to watch here. GCTS popped into 70, took a beak wider. It's still putting in higher lows, but not necessarily higher highs. Still above the 10 EMA. I don't know. This one's thickly traded and not really doing that well. It's also a bit of a compression pattern, mind you. So, you know, we always say, you know, compression patterns, they resolve in the direction of the trend. But my observation lately is sometimes, well, lately it hasn't been true at all. But this trend line here is interesting. Resistance, then flips to support. So I'm going to try to base my exit off this. Let's see if it can hold up into that high 150s. Ironically enough, that's where my stop is. So GCTS still in focus, up 62 some odd percent. But shout out to my man, Jag Guzman. Yes, RPGL is the one he gave me. Now, this is sub $1, 63 penny high. Sorry, guys, the charts are just not acting properly today, so we're gonna have to wait for that one to load up again. But while I wait for that one to load up, let me tell you about the other one that's moving. It's okay. Wow, I gotta be kidding me, dude. Here we go. It's gonna black out as well. All right, anyway, CATX into 355. Looks fantastic here on CATX. I'm not sure what's going on with my platform today, but they're all blacking out. Please don't black out, please. Okay, there we go. 63 penny high here on RPGL. Some technical areas that I'm interested in, Jag, are that 52 to 53 area. That's the breakout area from 11 o'clock. Popped into 52. VWAP and the 10 EMA kind of overlapping in between 51 to 52 pennies. So it's not my favorite as a result of it being sub $1, but hey, if it sets up in the right way, we'll take the trade on it. Pack in the patience on this one. Let's see if it sets up. TCGL is still halted, and feed is, it's gonna black out again, guys, sorry. RR, we're gonna look at that one in a second, Katina Man, but feed, we're gonna look at feed over here for a sec, still putting in lower highs, trying to hold up above the 10 EMA. I'd like a move above 440, but you could build your position near these levels and then give $4 or thereabouts as your stop. This candle here, 1150, ended up, I think, breaching 4 by a couple of shekels, 398. So you know there are buyers hanging around into that 4. Now, another thing you can do is wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. You haven't gotten a new high since that 1140 candle. So it would not be, beyond the realm of possibility that we get a new high, maybe into the mid-30s, and then you end up trending up quite well. So in fact, that's what I'm going to do here on feed. I'm going to put a breakout trade above the third of $1. Let's go ahead and set up that, and then we're going to go 433 breakout trade there, and we'll give it a couple of shekels worth of room, right? Because, sometimes there is a liquidity grab in and around that level. So go just like that. And we'll see if we get it on that bad boy. The chart does not look bad, so that's why I'm kind of looking through that. There goes CATX into the high again. Unbelievable for CATX over here. Very clean. So I'm going to have to set up something here on CATX, but it's not giving you the opportunity to get anything in. Casey, 526, Sharif, after an hour of halts, when will these go to T12? I have no idea. That's a great question. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about news pending. I have really no idea, but I've seen some of these volatility halts extend past, sometimes half a day. It's very unusual. It's very unusual, but that's kind of the thing we got to get in. The last time I had an entry on my blotter was this side up Assassino 1108, and that was it. And we're not going to know what TCGL, the tap is, because it's on the Amex. And that's kind of one of the things I hate about the Amex network, is you have no idea what the buy-side imbalance is during, in this case, a very prolonged halt, almost an hour. So sorry, Case, I couldn't help on that. By the way, the Katina Man wants to look at RichTech. RichTech Robotics is absolutely doing it over here. So let's take a quick look at RR. It's really losing the bid in an aggressive way. RichTech Robotics down 20%. Oh, baby. Looks like it might be headed to that $4 area. Let's just load up this on the side chart. 407. I think this is the low of the day currently on RichTech. Let's see what the news is. Is there news on RichTech? I'm not seeing anything. Watching RichTech Robotics. Here it is. Do you want to go to Adair? Okay, we can go to Adair for this.
Yeah, Rob, RichTech apparently dropping after Microsoft denied any commercial relationship with RichTech after claims of a close collaboration. So RichTech, basically, we know there was some talks of potentially a collaboration with Microsoft. Microsoft saying that the company, I guess the engagement with the companies was simply a standard customer program. There's no commercial relationship or close.
Yeah, hold on. Here it is, guys. So if you want the actual short report, here it is. This is the website right there, so you guys can do. I'm going to post the website for the short report in the chat. You guys want to go ahead and read it? It's right there. But that's the extent of the whole move on RichTech. So this is the short report right there. Microsoft denies, by the way. But yeah, keep an eye out on that, Joey.
Yeah, I was going to say, good thing I didn't have that as one of my picks there.
This guy, I love it, bro.
I'm a good kid.
It depends on which way the wind's blowing.
You know what I mean? So exactly.
Which way the wind's
Obviously
blowing.
being extremely sarcastic.
Man.
Nice work there, Gaurav, on that move. Let's go, man. We're still being patient, waiting for this. Once again, guys, we'll go through the couple of trades that I took here today, and we're going to start that off with TSLL. It's unfortunate that it didn't work for us, but there was no bid, and it never really got that rebound what we were looking for. So a couple minutes after that open, right? Like, if you're not going to get that kind of move back towards the volume-weighted average price, sure enough, you're going to get into this kind of downtrend, and that was the case. So 2 attempts on that one, and then we fouled out on TSLL. I'm not worried about it whatsoever. And then we're going to head over to CVNA. That did go to a low of around $215, I believe. A little bit less. Where's that? Why is this doing that? Okay, there's some weird candle somewhere. Anyways, we got a nice little, I mean, it wasn't nice whatsoever. I had to sit through this pullback towards the volume weighted average price, and then eventually it did tank, but I got out when I was not supposed to, but I did get out eventually, and we got out of there unscathed. So I'm happy about that, but eyes are still fully on silver here, guys. I think these are most definitely in play. And we'll go over these contracts that, I mean, go check your boy out on X as well, too. I post the upgrades and downgrades and the options contracts, both puts and both calls on that page. I'll be doing that every day from here on out. So if you want to go and take a look at that, 110 was those levels that we had for SLV, and then 500 also on GLD. We are now trading south of both of those levels, so take a look. Yeah, Mike Peter Ryder, I know you were on those. You're commenting, as always. Thank you very much for that one, brother. Much appreciated. So Sharif's significantly more active than I am here today, but I think if we get in at the right place at the right time, we're going to be able to hold on to a nice solid position. If silver wants to go the other way, I mean, we're down 3%. I'm not worried about it. We're still holding up to that. We're still holding that 102.50 level. So I know Katina Man's along this, so I'm going to keep an eye on it.
All right, Eddie's talking about BATL, but so is, there's a bunch of other people. I want to shut them out. I think it was Amir who mentioned it as well. Let me give him credit. Amir, yes, you said I suggested BATL. Let's look at BATL. This is the chart, though, on RichTech. BATL, what do we got? Sorry, guys, the charts are what they are today, so we're just going to have to wait for this to load. I'm going to take off TGL from the trading screen over here. We're putting RPGL. Shout out to Guzman, Jag Guzman for that. Look at this, Joey. Look how long I've been waiting for this thing to load.
So I think at that point,
there we go.
The timing
there you go, my man. There you just got to look at it there. All right, this is a great look here on BATL.
Boy.
What is this up on the day? 30%, $88 million market cap, volume, 7.12 million shares. Great breakout through 5, a flat top breakout if I've ever seen one. So how do we get into this now that we're a little extended here? This is a good look on BATL, and I was looking at it yesterday clearly because I have trend lines drawn there. It's about who I'm going to take off. GCTS kind of lost the bid out there, so we'll put BATL instead. And there it goes into another high day, 545, 546. Great strength on this one. Let's put it on the side chart and let it update here. Yeah, Joe, you're going to have to take over for a bit, because the charts are, I'm going to have to flip programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Super chat. Yeah, I know. I didn't see the thing is though. I don't really understand this, Curtis. Hey, Bell Fiber, man. Maybe I can make a phone call or two for you. Maybe there's something that's been hit as of late. All right, so we'll take a look at that. I'm obviously being sarcastic, but I don't know which region you are in Toronto. There might be a little bit of an outage there. Joe, don't underestimate SLV. It will go back to 105. Sure, go long on it. Yeah, I mean, hey, man. Stick to your guns. I got a game plan, whether it works or not. I'll take your words into consideration, but I'm not going to overly allow it to influence my next decision. If I'm right or wrong, I'm willing to live with it, right? So, okay, Danny boy, this guy. I'm going to read this, but I quite don't understand. I understood your other one, but I'm not too sure about this one. All right, Danny boy. So yesterday, while researching sources of free cheese on the internet, I stumbled across some potential profitable info about the moon, which I was previously unaware of. But let's keep this just because of us girls for now. That one I don't understand. The other one I understood before, obviously in regards to the 88 unguarded bathrooms in whatever stadium you were referring to, Gillette Stadium maybe. I think that's where the Patriots play. Yep, that's what I was looking for. Thank you for that, Katina Man. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Danny boy. I mean, it sounds like Stolen Cheese Dispenser Incorporated is on full bloom and looking to maximize margins and everything along those lines. So ticker SCDI. Check that one out. It's not going to be on the Amex, NYSE, the Nasdaq, or anything along those lines. It's more or less private, I believe, and you're going to have to contact Danny Boy himself in order to get involved with that, or maybe Vlad Tenev, because he could get you on the tokenized side of things, which I'm sure we'll be talking about here later on today. But my man, Wow Hood, yeah. Oh, okay, Gorb, yeah. What a massive pop there in Robinhood, going off of the overall market. Our friend, our good boy here, long off of this 5-minute candle. What a beautiful beautiful play. 99.46 all the way up to 101.70s is Robinhood starting to rebound. And there goes SLV. So maybe this consolidation isn't going to be the one that we're going to be looking for a potential short. If there is somewhat of a rebound, then so be it. We look for any forms of indecision. But as for Meta, right back up to $733. That's a big time move. Let's run through a couple more of the Mag 7 names while we're at it. What has NVDA been up to? I'm glad that I trimmed some. We're down to 188. Okay, I mean, we did pop up to 193, was off to the races. Sure enough, liquidity grab, we'll grab a bunch of we'll get a bunch of people stopped out right out of the gates, and then sure enough, we'll head to the downside in NVDA. Now, Apple starting to trade above the volume weighted average price as well, too. Microsoft can't really catch a bid, so you want to find relative strength guide. AVGO looking pretty good. Salesforce, I don't know why that's all the way up there, but anyways, Palantir all the way back up to $150. IonQ, this is some of the quantum names you're starting to find a little bit of a rebound. I know some people were talking about Rigetti this morning. Yeah, waterfall type price action there. And then BBAI, 562, ooh, taking it on the chin there as well, too, guys. So Robinhood, SoFi, what have you up to? Can't quite break view up just yet, but a nice solid recovery, and there goes silver. So I'm going to classify this thesis as invalid right now. If you do slowly start to curl over, maybe there's going to be an opportunity, but if not, just go with the flow right now.
Ben is in this in the 20s with shares.
No.
Yes. Okay, and look where it just gapped up to.
Where's it at now?
It's halted at 53.90. Do you know where it was halted before? 29.11. He's sitting there. He's like, I have a move. He's like, well, let's see what happens. I was talking to him back there because it was still halted.
On the previous halt, he moved it.
No, he was in before. I was telling you, he's from the 20s. So this one halted, I think,
he was in on that halt, right? The $20 halt?
Before.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then halted.
So this is up a big. TCGL halted again. 53.90. It is up 517 and almost 0.5%. What a fantastic move for this one today. Very dangerous, mind you. And we had to fly blind the entire time. We had no idea what the theoretical auction price was going to be. Oftentimes when things, are halted for that long, people want to get the hell out of there. So they're putting, sell market on open orders. And clearly that was not the case this time. So fantastic look there for everybody who's holding TCGL. Casey, were you in that? Casey's dropping cash in the chat. Shout out to Casey. Case, are you in that? Let me know. TCGL open, she wrote earlier, but I don't know. I know we're talking to you about it, but I don't know if you were in it. So fantastic look for anybody who held that monster, but we're going to keep an eye out on it, and once it's open, we'll let you guys know. RPGL, the one that our friend there, what's his name? Guzman, Jag Guzman was giving us into the volume weighted average price. Let's put that up on here. GCTS, that's not the one that I'm in. Give me 1 sec. RPGL, there we go. Let's see if it's on the Nasdaq. 1 sec. Yes, it is on the Nasdaq. Volume weighted average price, 53 pennies. Prior area low is 48 pennies. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to Adair.
From just that, they're going to be announcing the Fed head in the next week, either next week or in the next week here. That'll be with Scott Bessent and I believe also Howard Lutnick. So again, we're likely to get this Fed chair announcement within the next week, according to U.S. President Donald Trump. Back to you.
Kind of what we knew from his comments on the weekend, Joey.
Yeah.
That, he was talking about even possibly before the FOMC meeting, but, I don't think people were really thinking that was going to happen. What are you looking at, brother?
I'm trying to just pull up the imbalance here on, I know you have it, but I
you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, I just want to take a look at it here and see what we got going on. It's YSS, right?
YSS on the NYSE, here it is.
Oh, it's on the NYSE?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So you still have a neutral print there, neither buy nor sell. Size 21,075. We don't know which side that's on, but the paired volume is 2 and 3, a little bit more than 2.75 million shares so far. So.
All right, good stuff. I mean, there goes IO Silver away. So the consolidation that we were looking for it happened, but then it decided to take a little bit of a leg higher. So that's fine, man. A nice recovery here in silver with a high of around 110. We're now trading at 103. We did dump all the way to $96, and gold's starting to recover as well, too, guys. So let's just go with the flow and not try to go against anything currently. So, yeah, potential longs if we held on to that 102, but I wasn't going to hold it $1 against me or anything. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq and the SPY. We have yet to do that here, and then we'll go over some of the top performing sectors momentarily. Just 12.18. Meta, what a big time recovery here in META. We're only $10, a little bit less off of that previous high in Meta. So Zuck and company, that's good. The account is loving, the long-term account is loving this one for sure. Not so much on NVDA. Now, as for SPY, what have you been up to, Spider? Spider. What do we do here? We don't want to compare symbols right now. SPY, yeah, now trading above the volume-weighted average price as well, too, guys. So not too bad of a look whatsoever. Now let's head over to the top-performing sectors and see if we can find some relative strength. I know a lot of people were talking about XLF this morning, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have that near the top of the list. Now, here it is, and we are going to the comms communication service, obviously being led by the likes of Meta, up back almost to 10% or roughly, or something along those lines. All right, 2% there. Energy sector 1.7, real estate 1.06, financials up 0.8%, right? So that's one that we wanted to look at. But the tech sector down 2.66%. That's going to be your last and your worst performing one. Materials 0.47, and consumer discretionary, obviously being led by the likes of Tesla. Now, as for the week, guys, okay, things really starting to take a turn. We were up quite a bit earlier in this week, 2.4, 2.5%, we'll call it flat. The IWM going even more negative, down 2.6%. You have the Dow negative, and then the SPY holding on by a thread. But we're also going to take a look at some of the earnings report. We're going to send it over to Sharif, and then when we get back to me, you know what we're going to do. We're going to look at the expected moves and some of these bigger names. We have Apple, SanDisk, Visa, Western Digital's, Deckers, and High Tide.
All right, PDS Biotechnology trading on the Nasdaq under ticker PDSBs, transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with their initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the U.S. in a few years. To learn more, check out www.pdsbiotech.com. Shout out to them. All right, we're involved in CATX over here at 82. Just went the beak at 88. Looking now for a 90 continuation on CATX. Let's see if this one can squeeze into 4. It's another MX stock, by the way. I guess all of them today are going to be really on the MX, saving it for except maybe the IPO and one other one, I think Feed. Let's see if this one can kind of work up there. Prior bar low is markedly lower than here. It's about 360. So I'm not going to give it to prior bar low. But yeah, there, that's exactly what I'm talking about, that level right there. Let's see if it holds up. Current bar low, by the way, is 380. So pack the patience over here on CATX, see if it can squeeze into the 90s. We have a 91 penny high. Separately, I'm continuing to keep an eye on BATL for a possible entry there. So we're waiting in the mid-90s. There it goes into the mid-90s on CATX. This could be a 4 squeeze here. Let's post at 99. And we're going to post north of 5.
It's
Joey,
open, it's open, it's open.
Okay, here we go, guys.
I literally was just getting this ready.
YSS open, here we go.
I was literally just getting it ready, and I was going to ask you, did you put in your Lou? Yeah, no, it's heading to the downside
Current bar
right
low,
now.
36.44. 36.44, low of day.
Oh, that would have
here we go,
good.
high of day, 38.47. Okay, so let's watch now. Can this one continue? 36.44, low of day. We're showing 36.90s here, Joey. It's about a 25 penny spread at the moment. So let's see, up still a little bit over here. Not bad look. Take over for a second because I just got into feed over here. Breakout on feed. Breakout on feed, guys. There we go. Let's see, we're into 45s. We've got 29s now on feed. Let's look for the continuation over here. We're looking for 50s. I got the breakout trade there on the feeded one. Let's see what else we can
okay,
get.
that's a good look. There's a good look there on YSS. You might get a little bit of a bounce here, guys. Once again, not much data to be going off of. Only 3 minutes, but a straight flush to the downside with that top opening up around just a little bit north of $38 or $37, I believe, is what it's displaying that on one chart that we opened up at. But now we're starting to climb a little bit lower. YSS volume at 4 million shares and continuing to move a little bit lower. What IPO? says electric passes.
YSS.
YSS, my friend, on the Nasdaq. So look to get involved in this extremely volatile.
Wow.
We're looking at a 40-cent spread right here. Sharif, do you have something going on?
Both, man.
All right.
We're long feed guys at 29. Here comes 55. And look at CATX, man. We're long. Oh, we just took it out there. Dang, into the high of day. Okay, so we had some here on CATX at 80s. There it goes into 420. The breakout is on now on CATX. This is getting parabolic, 430 now. Big breakout on CATX, man. What a move here. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if there's continuation. Are we showing a halt parameter? I don't think so, right? No, this is not a halt. I don't see the, hold on. Is it? No, we're just getting selling in and around here. No, this is, wow, another high into 429, Joey options. Very, very strong. We're going to pause for a second here. We got to go to the big desk, but it's feed and CATX and the IPO.
I'll be quick because there's a lot of excitement, but two quick things. The first here, U.S. Senate blocking the spending package, which does bring portions of the government closer to another shutdown. The second thing, though, and more interestingly, we had the RichTech robotics story. Hunter Brook basically saying they talked to Microsoft. Microsoft denied any kind of close collaboration with RichTech robotics. Now there is a article, a blog post circulating around from January 20th of this year, which people are saying confirms that RichTech robotics and Microsoft are in a partnership. Now here's the thing, Microsoft said that their whatever kind of relationship they had with RR was purely a customer relationship. I read the blog post, that to me doesn't really change things. It still just seems like it's a customer that they're just kind of popping up. But I will take a look to see if there's anything further here with regards to RR and MSFT. Either way here, I guess RR Long's trying to point to some evidence suggesting that RR and Microsoft are in fact in some kind of partnership. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Yep. Okay, so here we go. CATX, it's coming back into 4. So I'm exhausted my shares. What's my move? Am I getting back in here at 4? Let me give you the technicals. 10 EMA on the 5, 72. Prior bar low, 80. Current bar low, 02. You want to give it to current bar low? We're at 8s. You're going to risk 6 pennies. Here comes 5s. Can we hold current bar low, or are we going to break it? We're breaking it. 401, 398. It's losing in a hurry. Let's see if it bounces right back above 4. So the buyers are stepping in at the whole dollar. Not surprised by that. So the trend continues. Higher lows, higher highs, because the current bar high, 34. Prior bar high, 32. So good continuation here on CATX. I didn't get any 4s. I mean, that's probably on me. We can still try our hand here. Oh, my God. What's up, Joey? You want to take over?
Yeah, it's really moving. 33.20. What a clean flush. Oh, my God. Cap tone, man. That is not good. Capote, whatever your name may be, man. Oh, that's not good. You should have told me that. Long 1,000 shares of YSS at 34.50. Or maybe are you short? I have no idea. For your sake, I hope you are short, because that just took a massive move lower. So yeah, not too good look of York Space Systems. Now, as for going with the flow, because that's what we want to do, is go with the flow. Guys, look, how many trades I've taken. I made one mistake already on SLV. We take a little scalp, and you know what? Some days it be like that, all right? So this is as real as it gets with sitting Shreve and obviously everyone here, is that some days if it's not there, don't force yourself. And that's something that obviously I want to put on good trades, but I also don't want to put on stinkers either. Why? Because I have to go home and sit with that stuff. And I like to perform well, right?
Bang.
So 104.78 now on SLV. Is it going to be one of those recovery days? I think so, man. I'm getting really amped up. So never mind the short on SLV. Wait for those pullback. That's a nice ABCD pattern we're experiencing right on the 5-minute time frame. Maybe we can get a continuation and head towards some of these key, excuse me, pre-market support levels. There goes my pen. I'm throwing stuff. I'm hyped up. We got Sharif putting in trades. I have no trades, and I'm still ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to keep my eye on things. We'll run over our scanner momentarily. Not too long ago, we went over the best performing sectors. Now I just have to look to get involved. Full disclosure, down half of my shutdown off of those TSLL trades. All right, that's light, small potatoes, as Kevin Dooley would like to say. If you know who Kevin Dooley is, shout out to you. So, anyways, actually, I'll do this. Pure love to the individual who knows who Kevin Dooley is from and where he is from. All right, so shout out to that. Now back to these markets, GLD. 492, that dump all the way up from 510. We're slowly starting to recover off of that. I like GLD and I like SLV right now to the top side.
All right, back in the feed, looking for a 4 hold over here, wet the beak into the mid-teens, looking for another print at 20, and then we're going to hold for the high of the day. Sorry, that's CATX, not feed. Feed is really doing it. Here comes the $0.50 again. Can we breach Parabolic at the end? It keeps making me laugh. I don't know. You're giggling over there. Usually there's something funny.
Oh, no. What just happened to me is not funny.
Oh, okay, my bad, brother. Okay, so prior bar high, 455. We're showing 53s now. Let's see if feed wants to clear that 100% on the day. There's a seller here in the mid-50s that we can't shake. So, yeah, doesn't look like we're going to clear quite yet. And quite frankly, this 4.5 has been a hard road to hoe, man. I mean, like, look at this. How many times have we rejected off that 4.5? Now, on a wick basis, we've cleared it, but with no decisiveness and no closing prints, mind you, above that 4.5. And here it comes. It's about to come back into my level. I'm going to stop out here. Let's see if what we can do on this one, we can get a little bit more back in. On FEED, very wild price action today on this monster, but there's certainly a $0.50 seller here. If we can clear that $0.50 seller on a decisive basis, I'm going to get right back in, and there it goes. What a stupid mistake that was to get out there. Let's see now if they're $0.50 step. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's move up a little bit over here into the 60s and then into the 70s. Can we hold the $0.50 generally? It doesn't look like we're getting a lot of buying above the $0.50. That short seller is quite amped up to get everybody caught offside. So anything below the mid-40s, let's go ahead and wait down into the mid-40s, and we'll give it this one a little bit of room. Now, we got the pack of patience here. So we're going to keep an eye here on feed, looking for that continuation. Let's see the $0.50. Are there any buyers stepping in at the $0.50? Not quite yet, Joey. Looks like there's selling coming in at the $0.50. All right, we'll get stopped out there as it does lose that trend. Let's go up to the big desk.
I want to provide some more context here in this Microsoft RichTech robotics thing, because I do think it's important to note. I looked into it in the official press release here for RichTech, which clearly is what the short report's referring to just based on the language. So RichTech Robotics as of Wednesday, or sorry, yeah, that's today. It would have been as of Tuesday, saying that RichTech Robotics collaborating with Microsoft to advance agentic AI and real-world robotics applications. Now, at one point during the press release, they mentioned a close collaboration between Microsoft's AI co-innovation labs and RichTech Robotics' engineering team. So here's the actual website for the lab. The reason I bring this up is because, yeah, sure, they say close collaboration. That's what the short report's saying. Okay, the collaboration isn't exactly close, but if you look on the Microsoft website describing the program, it does describe a close collaboration. It says the AI experts at Microsoft are going to be collaborating directly with the team of whatever company is part of this lab. So long story short, when I actually look at this program and the press release, what the short report is saying is not, what they're alleging RichTech is saying is not quite based in reality. It seems like RichTech is mostly just quoting the Microsoft program itself. So a little bit more context in that short report. Not all of this is quite as clean cut as it might appear. Back to you.
Oh,
sure.
nice.
All right. Wow. Nice print there on CATX. We were holding 4, popped up into the 4 in mid-quarter. So we're packing the patience here on CATX, but it's about to lose current bar low. Current bar low is right here, I think, 414, 413. There's a buyer stepping in here at 14. It's a hidden buyer. You couldn't see any size posted there on the buy side of the level 2. Let's see if this one can pop off and take out that 434 high. We have a lower high but a higher low right now on CATX, Joe.
All right, man, good luck. So, yeah, just looking to get involved in some silver here. There goes YSS all the way up to 35.60 roughly, and then now starting to slowly cool down, but a big-time rebound off of that $33 low, and a nice rebound. So, Capote, whatever you're, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but, yeah, nice little play. Am I going to get involved in silver all the way up here? Absolutely not. Waiting for a good opportunity. I'm going to run through the scans. Let's head over back to our watch list and see if we got anything that is kind of catching our eyes. I mean, buy high, sell higher is the ideal thing in the mark that I might have to start looking at here momentarily. But Dell Technology. Oh, what was I just on? Oh no, I have to find that ticker that I was just on because it was starting to form a really interesting parent. Gorev. There goes Robinhood all the way back up to 102.26. I mean, this is we haven't put in a red candle since 11:45. So you almost have an hour of just straight buying here in Robinhood. I have to find that ticker that I just had on here because there's a beautiful hammer candle print starting to be formed right at the volume weighted average price. We'll be back momentarily with Sharif.
All right, guys, as traders, whether you trade U.S. stocks, options, or futures, at some point, each of us has felt blindsided. Suddenly, a stock you're trading moves sharply and you're left guessing why. And it's not your fault. Often large funds have quietly built up huge positions, huge, in the options market well before the name you're trading reacts. That's sad. To gain an edge in today's market, SPA Gamma's daily flow patrol reports reveals where big money is positioned so you can identify stocks building momentum ahead of major price moves. Get 2 free weeks of SPA Gamma's flow patrol. Scan that QR code on your screen and go behind the curtain and see what professionals see. Shout out to them. All right, I weaseled into the IPO here. Small shares. If it loses 35, I'm out. I'm looking for a continuation. It did breach prior bar high. Current bar low, I should say 34.33. Current bar high, 35.75. We've got 56s. It's showing me 34, so we're out of the money. But I'm looking for a possible move into 36. Let's go ahead and wait at around that level. We get it, we don't. I want to take a shot at this. It's up 4.38%. Big move into 38.47. Big move as well into the lows, 32.64, showing, that it's generally holding 35 at the moment, but with no real aggressive buying. So we're going to pack the patience. Right back into that $0.50 we go. Can we get a resolution into 36? I feel like maybe we're on the back end of the move and a possible V-shaped retracement, maybe into 38. Let's see what we get. We got a couple of green candles here on the one, more than a couple, 4 in a row, but now we're actually getting lower highs. The candle at 12.33 actually did lose prior bar high, and here we are right in the 35. Is there a buyer at 35? Let's see. Do they step into 35, 20 we go? So there is a buyer at 35 for now, but for how long? And how many shares do they have? Are they convicted in their position? We're dilly-dallying here at 35 in the mid-teens. It's about a 5 to 10 penny spread, depending on when you're looking at it. And there it goes right back into 35 again. And there's buying guys at 35. So somebody's buying this at 35. For how long? We'll have to wait and see. But there is a buyer, a hidden buyer at 35 on YSS right now. Adair.
Just be aware here, guys. AAPL on watch hours before its earnings report. Financial Times reporting that the company is buying an Israeli startup called Q.AI in a $2 billion deal. So again, Apple reportedly acquiring a company, according to Financial Times, just hours ahead of its earnings report. Potentially keep an eye on AAPL here. Back to you.
That buyer at 35 is a staunchy bugger. I just don't know how much juice he's got left. It feels like it's going to lose here at 35. It keeps dipping into that $35 level, and the buyer keeps stepping up. I'm just worried about a liquidity grab below 35, and then ends up not triggering my stop because, well, there's no shares at that level. By the way, guys, we took out the high of the day on CATX. I got the high of the day, but I want to resolve this trade before we start celebrating that one. Let's see what we get back into 35, 31 over here into the $0.25. So I know now there's a buyer at 35. Now, how can I use that to my advantage? Well, let's see if we can kind of pop off this level now. Are other longs going to see kind of what I'm seeing and use the 35 as their backstop? Or the shorts going to lure us in and then push this one below 35? So right back to break even, Joey, over here, as we're up 35, 54, and I've got 56s.
All right, let's do this thing. We're going to do it right now. Thank you very much. Who mentioned this? Yeah, watch out for a potential. There's a supply zone at 105 on SLV, so let's see how we react. But let's head over into some expected moves with the earnings we are anticipating for this evening. Now we'll pull up our trusty calendar and we'll just go down the list here. We're going to start things off with, did I? Oh, I was chewing on an apple, so we're going to start off with AAPL. All right, guys. So then we'll actually pull up the chain as well. So let me move this here momentarily and see what we got going on. And then we'll just kind of we'll combine everything and put everything here together. So as for Apple, guys, we got a high of a potentially 3.6% expected move, 266 high, 248 low. Now, as for the open interest, we want to correlate that with 267 if it is available, 267.5. 265 definitely has the most open interest. So there it is, guys. This is what we're looking at currently right now, 265 on this week's expiration cycle. At the money, IV drastically increased here on AAPL. Keep an eye out on that. The next level is going to be 270, where we have 24,000, and then also 280, a little bit of a supply zone right there. So moving on to the next one is going to be SNDK SanDisk. That is correct. Let's make this a full screen. Yeah, SNDK. We'll pull that up. I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit bigger. SNDK. You got something going over there? You want to?
I'm in the IPO.
Oh, you're in the IPO. All right, 9.9% expected to move right here, guys, with a high of around 597 and a low of around $490. It's a $100 spread right there, roughly. SNDK. Let's take a look at the SNDK. Let's take a look at the options chain. Not very liquid, but look at the at-the-money IV, man. This is absolutely insane. So you can see an increase in these premiums. You're paying $2,800 for some of these contracts. That's absurd, right, if you ask me. So in my opinion, avoid these for now unless you're going to be a writer, because that implied volatility will start to cool down. Now, as for Visa, it's not going to be very active as from the options front. 2.9% expected move, high of around 340 and a low of around 320.91. Now, as for the chain, let's see what we got going on over here. The only real one correlating was AAPL so far, but we only got triple digits, so nothing substantial, nothing to keep your eye out here in the options market with that tree.
All right, guys, we're in on the IPO right now, 35.56. We went the beak there on the price spike up into 35.88, but here it comes into 35 again. And now we saw the buyer there at 35. We all saw, and then there was plenty of shares that exchange hands at that level. So I'm putting in a dip trade at 05s. Let's see if we get the fill. Into 6s we go, so it's not quite dipping down into my level. Let's see. And anything below 35, guys, I'm basing my dip trade here on that 35 buyer. Let's see if they step in or whether even I get filled. Quite frankly, I'm not getting filled at the moment, so it dipped into 6s. Not quite there. 10s now showing up. Let's see if we can kind of dip down, pick up that order, and then maybe the 35 buyer can help backstop us. 35.08 showing up again. Matt, not quite dipping down into my level. There it is. We got filled. Huge buyer at 35 again, guys. We're unable to. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if we lose it. We lose it. Let's give them. Just want to try. Right back up. Let's go ahead and wait up here for a possible profit taker.
Oh, there you go. Nice pop right there, Sharif.
Yeah, but not quite there yet, Joey. Any big sell order can really hurt us here. So we've got 35.05. We got the fill showing 33s now, 21s now on the bid, 33 on the ask. Looking for continuation up into the 40s. We're going to wet the beak there. Then we're going to really try to hold for a 36 pop and go. Let's see, 45s, 50 now. There it is. There's a nice fill. So now we have 05s. Good. Let's see. Can we get above 36? We're showing 70s now. We're still below prior bar high. Let me give you the technicals. Bro, this is killing me over here. These charts are killing me, man. 35.88. Prior bar high, 35.88. Let's see. We're going to wait now. 36. Let's go 36 and a third. For a move, 35.98, Joey, 35.98. Let's see, can we clear 36? We can't, that's prior bar high. There's a monster seller here at 98s, Joseph Option. Is it gonna help? Is it gonna reject? We're gonna wet the beak here. Let's move that up. Let's move that next one up. All right, good. So let's see, we can get maybe closer to 37. I know I'm like lofty in my expectations, but I wanna clear that 36 seller. Let's see, man. Come on. 36. We know that there's a seller at 88s. We couldn't shake prior bar high. Let me double check that. I think I'm wrong. It did price spike up through prior bar high. 88s on the 1235 candle. 96s on the current candle. Down into 40s we go. We can't take out 36, Joseph Options. But that 35 buyer is still there. Down into 25 we go. What's up?
Look what happened to me. You see?
What, sorry, brother. I'm just trying to keep my. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's something going on with our platform today, and it's really aggravating me.
It's so frustrating. All right, I got to look at something else here. We're going to pull up another chart, guys. I was just reading through some of this stuff. Let's get this out of here. A nice indecision print. It's garbage, and it's got to get out of here. So
get it, Joey.
I mean, let's find something else here, guys. We're going to go head over to the Qs. I like what we got going on above the volume weighted average price, and if you go back to the daily and correlate it with what we got going from an intraday standpoint, then maybe there's going to be a good opportunity, a nice little short opportunity. So I'm waiting for these things to come back into play. All right, a nice little move there, guys. But we got something special for you. Adara Especial has an interview for you guys coming up right now.
Very excited to welcome in a company that you guys have definitely heard of or seen this stock trading in the last few days. It's a medical technology company, Enview Medical. Thank you so much to Doran Besser, the MD, CEO of Enview Medical, of course, trading here as FEED. So, I mean, obviously the stock and company have totally been on watch lately. Can you please tell us about your company's core product, the Enview Navigation Platform?
Sure, thank you very much. So Enview Medical has developed it's already 510K cleared intra-body navigation platform that helps clinicians place feeding tubes safely at the bedside. So instead of placing blindly feeding tubes and confirming later on with an X-ray, Enview has a GPS-like system which can navigate the feeding tube during placement. So the intention is to reduce risk, save lives, and at the end of the day, also improve patient safety.
That's a really, really great cause, of course. And with that in mind, can you please tell us about the growth opportunities specifically for your navigation platform and what problems this product addresses within the healthcare industry in terms of like feeding tubes?
So across the United States, there are over 4,500 acute care hospitals. And in each of these hospitals, feeding tubes are placed on a daily basis. And everyone can receive a feeding tube. Elderly patients, adults, young children, and also neonates. And the issue is that the feeding tube in about 3 to 5% of all cases can land in the lungs or not be positioned correctly within the stomach or small intestine. And what Enview is doing, it solves this universal clinical problem while helping hospitals reduce complications, delays in providing nutrition to the patient, and the workload of dietitians and nurses. And this combination creates a very large and recurring growth opportunity.
So with that in mind here, because you mentioned hospitals, I understand that the Enview platform has been integrated within a hospital system in Virginia. What did you learn from this integration and what were the results?
So what we've learned from that is within the Virginia system of 5 hospitals, that once the Enview system is integrated into the daily workflow, adoption grows quickly. So clinicians basically rely less on X-ray confirmation. They have an improved confidence and that the system becomes part of the standard of care within the hospitals. And that's exactly the pattern which we intend to replicate nationally.
Thank you so much for going over that. Now I want to talk about kind of the moment we've all been waiting for here. Your stock has been rallying over the last few days, and the catalyst for this was you guys announcing your strategic partnership with UDeliver yesterday. So obviously a lot of traders have seen this headline, but can you give us more details and explain what this actually means for your company going forward?
Sure. So one of our concepts is to reach also to home care, and the UDeliver distribution or partnership agreement accelerates our commercial reach because they bring logistics. They've got deep relationship with home care specialists, with dietitians, which allow us also to scale faster without this heavy infrastructure. And basically, the market reacted because this is real execution catalysts.
Thank you, so much for kind of getting into that, because I know we've heard so much about this catalyst, but it's always nice to kind of understand more what it means for the company. And with that in mind, do you have any other growth catalysts on the horizon for Enview Medical right now that you want to tell us about or tease out?
Sure. So for the near-term growth, we're speaking about expanding our commercial footprint throughout the United States. In other words, new hospital installations, expanding the usage of our existing sites, and therefore the recurring disposable revenue. And longer term, Enview is a navigation platform. So we do expect also to expand future applications into pediatrics, into neonates, and most probably also into other areas.
And with your stock, and last but not least here, with your stock having definitely reached so many people's eyes within the last couple of days, is there anything that you want our audience or just traders in general to understand about your company before we let you go?
So at the core, what Enview does is that we are modernizing a risky bedside procedure for over 13 million feeding tubes, which are inserted every year in the States. And one of the major issues is that safety, workflow, and economics, when those three things align, then adoption will follow, and therefore value will then be created.
Thank you so much for going over all of that with us. Again, this is the CEO of Enview Medical, which you guys certainly know as FEED or FEED. That is Doran Besser, MD. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Chris.
Great information and great interview there. And, you know, it's fantastic when we were trading a name, and then we get the CEO of that company on the show, man, because we were all over feed earlier.
Yeah, you've been trading feed the past couple of days.
Couple of days, Joey. All right. I was into the IPO at 35, as you recall. We went the beak there through 36. I'm back in at 21s at 36.21 because there's a buyer at 36. Let's see if he is as staunchy as the buyer at 35. I'm not giving it much room. If it loses 36, I'm out. Back into 36, 36.01, 36.03. Can we get that bounce, or are we going to lose the level? There's a buyer here. Again, a hidden buyer at 36. There's nothing posted on the gateway. We literally have 3 lots there. That's really nothing. And there it goes. So we will give back a little bit there, though, on what's this one called? YSS. We're still positive on it, though, actually quite positive on it. So pumped about that, but, you know, I had to give it a shot because it was continuing to move up. And yeah, that's the situation there. Joey, what do you got?
All right, good stuff, guys. Global X, brought to you by Global X. Here it is, savvy Canadian traders. Oh, Beta Pro. Oh, okay, we're on the wrong one there. We'll fire that back up. I don't know why I can't see it here. Oh, okay, yeah, by Predator. Sorry, yeah. Savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus before investing at betapro.ca, everyone. All right, this is the time. This is the time where we're going to get involved here on silver. I think the momentum is going to start to slowly pick up. I missed my opportunity here at 104.50s, but now we're looking for the break of 104. We're going to start really small, so hopefully we're fortunate enough to get involved. To get this to go our way. The market is starting to head back towards the downside. One thing that I wanted to point out here, someone said, hey, Joe, there's a massive seller at 103. Keep an eye out on that. Don't go long. I'm like, okay, perfect. That's all I really need to hear because that's going to add me a little bit more conviction, and we're going to correlate that with the options chain, and we have a supply zone around 15,500 contracts with 29,300 contracts traded at that specific level, okay? So we got a lot going on right there. Is this going to work? We don't know. Only time will tell. But I'm going to correlate the 105. Where was our high of the day here on SLV, or sorry, our previous pivot high? 105.10. All right? So I got 2 things working in my favor. I have the options chain telling me that there's a supply. It may not be absorbed. We have an inverted hammer candle, and we're slightly above the volume-weighted average price starting to form indecision prints, okay? So that's exactly what I want. Did I get the best price that I wanted? Absolutely not. But there goes silver. This is exactly what I'm talking about. 50 cents just like that.
Get it,
as
Joey.
quick as you would like, man. I mean, just correlating the two. This is what I'm talking about here at SLV. A nice little move. Full disclosure, I'm still slightly red on the day, but that's small potatoes. We're going to recover that here momentarily, especially if we get this continued breakdown in SLV, guys. So there it is, a nice little move. I wanted 104.50s. We would be $ITM roughly at the low, but that's not the situation, nor the case that we're currently sitting in. All right? So, hey, let's just keep going with the flow and see if we can get this continued breakdown.
All right, I'm in battle here, BATL. We're in at 46, wet the beak there through 50. Got 50s on the dot. Looking for continuation into the high of the day. 59 is the high of the day. If it stops out below, below prior bar low, that's 34. Showing me 41s on the bid, 47 on the ask. So it's a bit of a spread on battle, even though it's done 10 million shares and is about a $5 name. It's a good-looking chart pattern, quite frankly, but all the rave right now should be on this one. CATX blowing through 5 like it doesn't even matter. I mean, I thought I had a good trade on here with that 380 up into 440. It kept going and then some. And I kept telling myself, oh, Sharif, it's going to reject off 5. You don't want to get in here. It's too close to 5. Dumbass. All right, into 518 it goes, 519. Here it comes again, up over 100% now. Great strength today on CATX. Into the 5 1/4, almost there, 522, 525. There it is. I mean, CATX is breaking out. Now, do we dip into 5? And if we do we hold at 5? Prior bar low, I got to give you that information, 452, so substantially south. And then current bar low is 489. You could give it to 489, but we've seen this before. Topping till candle ends up going red. How does it go red? Well, it loses current bar low. So be on the lookout for that as well. But right now, it is dancing in the mid-teens. Not so bad over here on CATX. Looking for a possible 5 dip trade. By the way, that 10 EMA is at 4 1/3. So we are getting quite extended away from that 10 EMA with the high 525 and then the 10 EMA showing 539, I should say, not 5 1/3. 439, excuse me, not 539, 439. All right, so that's what I'm keeping my eye on now. We'll start the new segment in about 5 or 10 minutes. But I feel like I've been talking a lot today, Joe. So I'm going to send it to you because I'm getting a gnarly headache.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's ramble on a little bit here. A missed opportunity on the Nasdaq. We'll kick ourselves a little bit on this one, but there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, a nice little short here on the Qs from 625 all the way down to 623 on that inverted just above the volume weighted average price. Now, this is going to be a key point for us right here. I believe that we can hold this trade that we're sitting in right now on silver. If we get the VWAP breakdown, it's like, where's that next stage and where's that next level we need to break into? Oh, we're back over here again. All right, so I mean, if we do get that break of 102, our first things first, right? Let's take a couple steps back. We're going to look for the break of the volume, break and hold of VWAP. Once we get that breach, then we're going to look for that 102 break, right? Because why? We have a nice resistance zone. It can act as potential support. Next zone, we had a support level that can act once again as support, but if we continuously break through these steps, and we're fortunate enough to do so, then I think we can run into that $100 mark. That's going to bring us right into this little supply zone right now. You're starting to see a pretty hefty pullback on this. It's such a tough thing to short, which gets frustrating, considering I wish I was involved in the TQs, but that it is what it is. So YSS up to 36.32. Our boy Capote is definitely long from 34.50, so congratulations on that one. Hopefully you're still holding that one. I mean, that's a couple grand for you right there. $2 ITM, that's a nice payday. We'll take that one all day, every day. Now, as for some of the other bigger names, let's roll through our watch list and see what we got going on once again. I just want to sit in this trade. Where's my out? My out on SLV is going to be 105, so we'll give it $1. Okay, it's a little wide because our implied volatility is definitely increased. What's SMR been up to here, guys? Nice. See, same print here. We're going to correlate that with the Nasdaq and multiple other names. Apple starting to come back in, bouncing off the volume weighted average price. Then we have Microsoft as well too. Just couldn't find any form of a rebound just yet, and starting to form that turtle shell type price action. If this continuously holds to the downside, then 421 might be a potential target. And there we go once again, heading right back in towards the into VWAP on SLV. I'm going to keep you guys updated on that one. Just scrolling through the list, Broadcom, what have you been up to? A nice rebound, but waterfall right out of the gate and the opening auctions. Sure enough, you get that rebound, but fail to establish a new high and forming a lower high right there. Oracle. Congratulations on this one, Adara, as Oracle continues to absolute, what is it, hemorrhage we're going to call this one? It's like, it's just, yeah, you can't stop this one. You hit the artery off of this 346 zone. You're down more than 52%. This thing has been getting absolutely destroyed. It's not looking good for Oracle and company right now. Now, on to the next one, IBM earnings report. We're going to be going over this momentarily, a massive gap up. Well, guess what? We're going to start giving that a little bit. We're going to start giving a little bit of that back out of this consolidation, but right back into supply. Continuously moving here, guys. AMAT with applied materials still holding up relatively well. This thing has been on an absolute monster run as of late, guys. I mean, you have 102 days, 148 days right there. You catch 117%. No one's going to be complaining about that. TXN hasn't been holding up. Going oppo the overall market here today, Sharif, 216.59 to 222. 42.04. I can continuously ramble on here about how garbage, or that's not very nice of me, is it? But it's the reality of how Bitcoin has been acting. You have now been moving to the downside. You broke the trend. You got a little bit of a rebound, but 47 bucks. I think we're going to see some more downside here in Bitcoin. Like, listen, it's been an absolute disaster. I don't feel bad for Saylor or anything along those lines because myself, I lost substantial amounts of money on this and unrealized gains as well, too. So, boo-hoo, cry me a river, as Justin Timberlake would like to say. But, yeah. Key support levels, I think we break 84 and head into the mid-70s. And if we really start to capitulate and break down and the momentum picks up, we can head into the 60s and who knows, 50K. Because I'll tell you one thing right now, Wall Street ain't paying 120K for Bitcoin. They're going to want to try to get that as cheap as possible. So a distribution phase going on right now in Bitcoin. And that's why someone was asking me, Joe, hey, what do I think about BM&R? What do I think about MSTR? No, I don't like them right now. And I'm just being honest with you. Do you truly like this? Like, ask yourself. You have a high of around $4,900, right? Like, you almost get that 5K mark. It was a nice run. I get it. Everything building on the blockchain, stablecoins, and everything. Well, congratulations. We're now down 42% and heading right back into zones of June of 2025, so the middle of last year, roughly there. So Ethereum and the crypto space, I'm absolutely not in love with right now.
I respect that, Joey. All right, 2006 Jeep Limited. Thank you very much for $2 super chat. Shout out to my man selling 1/2 of my Google buy 198 to buy Microsoft at 421. I'm assuming those are options. Are those options? Sell half of my Google buy at 198 and then to buy Microsoft at 420. Is that options? Or
sounds like it. Well, I mean, you can't sell half. I don't. I mean, if you have 4 contracts, you can sell 2 of them and then buy 2 of them back. But I don't really know what the...
Let's look at some technicals. Let's see what Soft One is doing. Obviously, I'm not really an options guy. That's Joey Opsh. But let's look at the technicals and see what kind of price action you've got there. So, what's buy 198? Microsoft? What are we talking about here? What does that mean, Joey? Buy 198.
On Google? I don't know.
Oh, that's Google. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Google. What?
That's like at like a couple hundred. Or is it at, what is it at, Google?
333. I'm not sure.
GOOG.
Oh, that's the same thing, brother.
Is it at the same price?
Yeah,
I don't know what.
They're both.
Maybe they mean 298?
Maybe. Well, I don't think we've been at 298 for a minute, man.
Yeah, so I don't know what.
Just that. I don't even know your name. 2006 Jeep Limited. You don't have to super chat again, but here it is, 298 right there. That was back in mid-December. That's a fantastic entry, and it's a prior area of resistance. So that is the entry. Good on you. That's a great look. I mean, I think we probably see 350 soon on Google, sooner rather than later. So that's a hell of an entry right there. Now, if you're talking about 421 on Softy,
this is what he said, Sharif. Joel.
Go ahead.
He said he sold half of my Google shares. I bought at 198. Okay, so and then he bought Microsoft at 321.
Got it.
He's getting it.
Microsoft at 321.
Yeah.
I mean,
E21 like he's playing. What is that? Battleships? 21.
I'm not really sure what this means, but I'm not a big fan of Microsoft's price action at all. There's the mother of all double tops. You have a neckline break right there at around 500 to 490, and then it's a stair-step lower low and lower high. It's bleeding its own blood. It's lost some very, very important technical levels at 440 and 450. Take a look at this area top over here, which should have acted as support for the price action from around this level. It's not. So this one does look like we may see 400. I'm not in love with Microsoft at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's not a good buy at some point. We're also markedly below the 200 on whatever you're looking, the 200 SMA, EMA, you're below all of them. Moreover, you just got the death cross yesterday between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on Softy. And just within 2 days on Microsoft, we're down about, almost 13%. Within 2 days. So I'd like for this one to settle down, start showing me some higher highs and higher lows before I get involved in Microsoft at all. I still like the company, obviously, but yeah, not at these levels. I just got stopped at a battle, by the way, guys. All right, which is fine. That way I can kind of focus on the news segment. And then Sadiq. 199 super chat. Thank you very much, Sadiq. How come NVIDIA doesn't make red graphics cards? I don't know what red graphics cards are, brother. I haven't the slightest clue. You're going to have to explain that to me. But I don't know how to answer that. Do you know what red graphics cards are?
You're asking the wrong dude.
I mean, Obi may know, but I don't know. Sadiq, explain to me what you're talking about there, brother, because I have no idea what red graphics cards are. I know some of the models and, you know, the different types of graphics cards. I've never personally heard of red graphics cards. Adair.
Keep an eye here in GDRX. It is rocketing higher here. Endpoint reporting that the White House is punting the launch of Trump RX, which would be the administration's hub for the direct-to-consumer websites run by large drug makers. So once again here, GDRX on watch with a Trump RX headline. If I get more details, I'll let you know, but this thing is pushing higher for sure. Again, unclear any details. I'm looking for details, but just regardless, I do want to mention it because the story is pushing higher. Also, NVIDIA and Mercedes-Benz reportedly advancing plans for robotaxis. So lots of headlines here today. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's start the new segment over here. Oh, we got another super. All right, let's check it out. Golf franchise. Thank you very much, brother, for the $5 super chat. Up 10% on DVYE, up 14% on ICOP. Shout out to you, my man. Let's just look at those charts in case people are interested to know what you're trading there and what you're up on. Let's see DVYE. iShares emerging markets. I've been hearing more about this. I think there's another one called EMM. The emerging markets have been booming lately, especially if you're looking at the tariff tantrum lows. We're up about 47, 48% on that. Good look. This is DVYE, iShares Emerging Markets ETF, trades on the ARCA. And then he's up on ICOP. Copper and metals, love this. I'm looking at copper. What was that one, Brendo? COPX that we were looking at this morning? COPX, yeah. So copper, from the tariff tantrum low, you're up over 200% on this thing. So copper has been an absolute rocket ship, but this one looks like it has copper and metals. COPX was the one I was talking about. This one's a Globex Copper X Miner. Shout out to Globex, obviously, a client of ours. And since the tariff tantrum to the highs today, you're 230% on copper. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with these metals. Now, I was actually watching a really interesting video by CNBC. It was one of the reporters went to the Corning facility, and she was basically looking at the next sort of wave of fiber optic design. So Corning, I mean, I didn't know this. They're all sorts of entrenched in fiber optics, and if you look back at their chart during the dot-com bubble, well, we're not even close to recovering from there. So they've been doing this for a while. Let me just show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll get to my point. GLW, the ticker, if you can go to the screen, please. Here we go. Let's go to the weekly. Actually, we might need to flip to the monthly for this because it's been a minute.
I don't know if it's a different company, Sharif. But
No, it's not a different company.
No, what I was about to say is that Bell Canada works a lot with Corning as well.
Well, I bet. Bell Canada is only fiber optics, whereas opposed to Rogers, which has copper wires. Exactly.
Well, I mean, Bell still has copper, too.
They do?
Yeah.
I thought it was
a lot of the, well, they're trying to put in the majority of things copper, but a lot of the copper is the old infrastructure, right? That you still need and repair, right?
Yeah,
so if it's really damaged, you can't always replace all of it with fiber, so you still have to use like some.
Very interesting, bro. Look at this, Joey. This is GLW's chart, and this is 1999. This is 2000. We got to $340, but we've seen this before. Cisco, Nortel, this was really a bubble and an aggressive retracement. We're not even close to some of those levels, man. Not even close. But Corning's been really breaking out lately, not because they're Apple's supplier for glass, even though that is a good cash flow part of their business, but it really is the fiber optics. And what they're saying is, you know, I know they have the latest tie-up with Meta, and they have about 8 million miles of fiber optics in that Hyperon facility that Meta's building, I think in Louisiana. But what I was really interested in is they're kind of taking like the cables that would be about this thick and not really malleable, and they're making them down into this. So number one, it's really interesting, it's really important for these data centers to kind of be able to utilize space in the best way, and these cables are bendable as well, whereas there was an issue with that before. So a lot of R&D happening there, and it's really data center focused. So GLW could be an interesting sort of trade adjacent to the data centers, adjacent to AI, much like we've been talking about with Caterpillar, et cetera, not names you typically associate with AI and with hyper or with semiconductors and microchips, but GLW, an interesting one. And I would suggest everybody, if you're interested in that whole topic, to watch that video. It's quite lengthy. It's about like 25 minutes long, so a good watch nonetheless. BATL is bleeding its own blood down into 5. I perceive a support level between 5 and 490. Volume weighted average price at 490, and then the breakout level, the flat top break, was around 5. So not a bad look there for anybody who's interested. Dogo, Joe, Sharif, look at Meta, break above 735 going right. Look at Meta. CATX is about to take out $6, by the way, 592 high. This is a great hold today on Meta, especially in the face of a lot of weakness. This thing's up still 10%, and you know, not really that far away from the morning high as well as yesterday's high, 740. You're talking about 735, possibly. There was certainly a seller here at 735. You saw that earlier, especially vis-a-vis the topping tail candles, and you're getting topping tail candles again in and around 735. So you've got the higher lows, you've got the flat top. You're just going to need the buyers to step in now. But yeah, it's hard for me to know whether it's going to break through 435 or not. But a good hold for Meta, and there was certainly buying at around 730. Because you can see bottoming tail candles at 730 in the way that you're seeing bottoming tail candles in the opposite position at 735. So Meta may be a multi-day hold. I don't know what your time frame is, Dogo, but shout out to you.
Can I short this YSS thing, or do I have to order that?
You have to order. It's almost certainly you're going to need locates on that. Because IPL, bro. On the Rail TV, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I have been swing trading BBAI for the past 6 months, buying at the mid-5s and selling in the low 6s. Back at that level now. My man, absolutely great. I mean, I don't know. The Katina man's invested in this name. So let's take a quick look at what Big Bear. Well, Big Bear is down today, much like the overall market, 7%. Take a look at the technicals on the daily. I don't like this because we seem to have these unbroken lower highs. Save and except, obviously, for these outsized days that reverted back pretty quickly. Let me just extend this trend line because I think this trend line is actually quite accurate here. Geez Louise, it might be really, look at this, Joey. Touch. This thing would be, you know, so be on the registry there. Joey.
Yeah, no, let's get out of this. Let's get out of this SLB stuff.
I perceive possibly a flat bottom break here on BBAI forming with maybe 5.5 to, well, let's look at it a bit more. Because you're getting a compression pattern as well. Like you are getting these higher lows, but simultaneously getting lower highs. This is a tough one to read here, man. A tough one to read. These higher lows are all finding support at that trend line and or the 200 moving average, but you're still putting in lower highs. Like, I mean, all the area highs are lower than their predecessors. That's not a glowing endorsement for me. I'd like a decided break above that and a hold. But hey, your strategy is working, but Big Bear compressing here. Very, very obvious compression pattern, but the lower highs to me are a little bit more important. All right, let's start the news. Think we're good for super chats? No, nobody else? All right, good. Oh boy, okay. All right, yeah, just give me a sec. Ruchi Shah, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Ruchi. Hey, Sharif, I believe GLW was split back in 2001. Let me have a look. My chart should reflect that. If it doesn't, I can definitely check. GLW, let's take a quick look. Go back to the monthly over here. It should tell me if it was split. We're going to have to wait. Sorry, guys. So let's just give this an opportunity to load. Here we go. I don't see a split on there, brother. I'm pretty sure this didn't split. But, you know, let me double check. You said 2001, right? Let me see. Yeah, 2001. Let me just find out. Take over, Joey?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is why we got out of SLV. It's not shortable right now, and there's a lot of volume coming in. Like, we can head over to our scan and see what we got going. Wouldn't be surprised if it's near the top end of things. Another super chat there. All right, very much appreciated. Where is my mouse gone now? Let's pull this up here, guys. SLV, yeah, 185 million shares, 185 million. Yeah, so it's too crowded. I'm going to avoid silver unless it's to the top side because it looks like it wants to steady grind a little bit more. So Nasdaq starting to recover as well, too, guys. So the market, a big-time recovery here today.
Yeah, you're right. So it didn't split in 2001, October 4th, 2000. Thank you very much. Accurate. 3-for-1 split, October 4th, 2000. They also did a 2-for-1, February 11th, 92, and then another 2-for-1, February 15th, 89. Thank you for that. That's actually quite important. I don't know if this chart is split adjusted. Typically, my charts do show split adjusted price action, so it'll reflect that. I'm not sure if this one did it because it's kind of like 26 years ago now. So I really can't answer that, but I'm pretty sure that they haven't recovered from the market cap high of the great financial crisis, and that's actually mentioned in the video as well. That the one that I was remembering, I was mentioning. Did you cover that last one?
No, I did not.
Who's 2 thumbs up?
Chat
GPT, $5 super chat. Guess who's got 2 thumbs has been swinging 3,500 shares of CATX. Now I just need DVLT to wake up. Hope you boys are having a good day. You must be having a fantastic day because this thing is up 116%, breached through 616 high, coming down now into 5.5, $5. I would be looking at 5 just because the 10 EMA and the whole dollar level are hanging out at that price. So CATX could be a very interesting dip trade at around 5. Slow motion, bro, put the ticker name and time frame in the back of your charts, big dog. Big dog. I would love to, but I've got to do it this way because my platform doesn't allow me, but you can kind of see the tickers right there, I think, right? And the time frame will always be 5 minutes unless I say otherwise, especially on the black charts. On my trading screen here, the bottom will be the 5 and the top will be the 1. So I just hope that's clear for everybody else. But Bovin saying ORBS is moving up. I keep saying we're going to start the news, but people keep putting questions.
You've got a lot going on there,
man. My boy. Keeping an eye here, just waiting for ORBS to load up on the platform. It is not immediately apparent. Yeah, not bad. Not a great looker, Bovin. 10.4 million shares traded at around 115 on a $1.61 name. It's not bad. ORBS, the ticker Bovin is talking about. Okay, I promise this time we're starting the news.
Someone sent another super chat.
No. Nice try. What a jerk. All right, Assassino, you ready to go, baby? All right, let's talk about Meta. Meta up 10%, and for whoever was asking, 735 break, you got it. It's at 736.5. Go Meta, go, baby. Reported strong Q4 earnings, EPS $8.88, beating the $8.23, driven really by resilient ad demand as well as operating leverage. Revenue just a tad shy of $60 billion on the quarter, 59.89, topping the estimates of 58.59 by over $1 billion. And that also represents a very healthy 24% year-over-year growth on that top line number. They did guide Q1 revenue to be about $53.5 to $56.5 billion. If you're wondering why, well, why is Q1 lower than Q4? I'm guessing probably increased ad revenue for the Christmas season. That's just my guess. You guys can do your own research on that, though. That is it is low, even the guide, even though it is below Q4, well above the street estimate. So that tells you the street was wise to the fact that Q1 typically weaker than Q4. They were only expecting $51.41 billion. That is way above the estimates there, and I'm assuming why we're moving in this way. CFO Susan Lee highlighted continued strength exiting Q4 and early into Q1, reinforcing confidence in that ad spend durability, baby. Ad spend makes up 97% of Meta's revenue, all digital ad sales. Advertising generated $58.1 billion. Out of that, 58.59. So 97%. I was telling Brendo this morning, I'm like, I get, they've got like, a ton of daily active users, but if anything happens to their digital ad game, it's disrupted in any way. Maybe remember like what Apple did to them by not allowing them to track users, and they had to use AI to be more specific with their ad placement. That number is just going to drop, right? So that does concern me. Full disclosure, I'm invested in Meta. Daily active people. That's the first time I've ever heard to it as daily active people.
Well, I mean, a user isn't the best terminology is it?
I don't know. I was okay with it. DAUs?
Yeah.
3.58 billion. That's a healthy percentage of the world's population. That's in line with estimates, confirming no user growth deterioration, despite, you know, some regulatory headwinds, which we'll get to maybe at a later date. Advertising demand remains strong across all their platforms, you know, which supports that premium multiple. This is where it gets really interesting. So we kind of talked to you about 2024 CAPEX. I think it was 37 billion, 30-something billion. And then we had 2025, which is going to land at around, I believe, 72-ish billion. And now they're guiding 2026 CAPEX to be between 115 to 135 billion dollars in 1 year for capital expenditures. That's well ahead of the estimates by the street that was guiding or guessing 110.7 billion. Usually, you know, you get that would be a little bit risky, but Meta up over 10% today tells you kind of how the street feels about it. The spending is driven by their investments, obviously, in Meta Super Intelligence Labs. We've been talking a lot about that and all the umpteen amount of acquisitions that they made to that end, as well as their next-gen AI infrastructure. I talked about the Hyperon facility in Louisiana. They've got another one with Blue Owl Capital that they only own 20% of. They lease the rest so that they could, you know, get creative with the balance sheet and the accounting. But the point is, they're spending up the yin-yang, and they better have something to show for it. And Zuckerberg confirmed that they are on track to have something to show for it because they're going to have new AI model releases over the coming months. Meta flagged, though, this has all been kind of good news. They did flag, though, EU and US regulatory risk. We know that they are now facing a trial, not criminal trial, civil litigation, I believe, in multiple jurisdictions, not just the United States, for making their feed too addictive and hurting younger people. Now, I can tell you, we've seen the European Union kind of look at making social media illegal for those under 16. I think Australia already pulled the trigger. And there are rumors, although nothing confirmed whatsoever, that Canada may be looking at limiting social media for teens or younger teens as well. So I don't think that that would be healthy for their daily active users and probably will be reflected in the stock price at some point if that was to manifest, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I mean, I'm long some gold here, probably going to get stopped out momentarily as it's not working for us whatsoever. As for Meta, CAPEX heavy, obviously a massive increase year over year. You want to see somewhat of an ROI here, but at the end of the day, when you have so many daily active people or daily active users, whatever you like to call it, 3-point-something billion, it's insane. You're going to blow all of that out of the window as it's continuing to grow. Revenue obviously continuing to grow as well too. So we like what Meta's got going on, a massive gap up from the daily from a daily perspective, and it. Who knows? It's holding up relatively well compared to some of the other names. We'll pull it up here momentarily and take a look at some of the technicals. See if we can get a little bit of a move higher in GLD. That would be fantastic. But first things first, and that is going to be Meta. Sharif and I are both involved in this. METU, I don't know why that's up there, but FBL, METU are potential leverage plays. Now META from a daily. Big time recovery all the way up to 735. So it's holding some of these earning report highs. And then sure enough, let's head over to the daily, a big time gap up there. Indecision print though, just be cautious of what we got going on over here. You might get somewhat of a gap fill because that is a scary print, if you ask me, at the highs.
Scary, spooky?
Hilarious.
That's your thing.
Like today's.
I see it. Shout out to the long man. I think I just got to maximize your name there. The long man, 001, 25. Big ones in the chat. Appreciate you there. My guys, y'all kicking ass today. Feed and CATX have been simply lovely. I love to hear it, man. Absolutely pleased for you, small cap gapper trader. Shout out to the long man, 001. Kill it, my man. Kill it. We're gonna hit this for you.
Hit that him.
By the power of Grayskull.
Boom. There it is. Like,
Bro,
you see the live action movie?
He-Man?
Yeah, that's coming out in like 26 or 27.
Hold on, there's a He-Man movie coming out?
Yeah, live action.
I'm gonna have to go to the theater.
It doesn't look that good, to be honest.
That's blasphemous. You said that.
I'm just saying.
Rusty Dutch, he's dropping $20 in the chat. Oh my good. It's good to have Joe back. Hey, there you go, Joe.
It is good. Thanks very much, my boy Rusty from across the pond. Come on, Gold man. What are you doing? When I get involved, yeah, you want to think.
All right, let's go to the next story, Joey. We're going to talk about Softy, Microsoft. Tough day for the soft one today. Where are they at, Joe? Let's go. They're down 12%. Eek. All right, they beat 414 EPS, beating the 397 on revenue of 81.27 billion. That beats the consensus estimate by over $1 billion. But despite the beat, the stock sold off sharply as investors focused on, number one, slowing cloud growth. We'll get to that one in a second. And then margin pressure. Azure, let's talk about that cloud growth. Grew very healthy, man, 39% year over year. But the problem is they grew at 40% last year over year. And that 1 percentage point, well, I guess that and the margins is worth 12% on the day. That's slightly below, to be fair, some buy-side expectations, and they're guiding for Azure growth. They're guiding 37 to 38% in constant currency. That's roughly in line with consensus, but signals that continued deceleration, right? You were 40 last year, you printed 39 now you're guiding for the next quarter 37 to 38. These are very healthy numbers, but the market's always forward-looking, right? So we'll have to see about that now. The other issue here were margins. Microsoft guided fiscal Q3 revenue to come in about 80.65 to 81.75, with the midpoint kind of flat versus consensus, but it's the implied operating and the gross margins, implied operating margins and gross margins, which are below expectations. Implied operating margin came in at 45.1. The street was looking for 45.5. Gross margins also slipped to just 68%. The narrowest level they've been in 3 years, kind of which reinforces that near-term profitability concerns. Let's talk about their CapEx because it's healthy as well. CapEx and financing leases surged to $37.5 billion. That's not full year, guys. That's on the quarter. That's up 66% and well above expectations. Management did emphasize, though, that they're going to continue to invest in AI data centers, the custom chips, and third-party capacity. We talked about Maya, or whatever they're calling it, yesterday ahead of their earnings. That is their custom ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits. These are chips that are used in data centers, and they kind of circumvent the need for NVIDIA's GPUs, right? They're very specific and tailored to the program that they're operating on. A lot cheaper, and some of them are a lot more energy efficient. That's why we've been making the case lately that maybe not right now, but there's a longer-term headwind possibly for NVIDIA and their margins. Whether or not they're able to kind of weasel into the ASICs game, a bit of a different story. Let's talk about their OpenAI exposure as well. They say that their commercial and remaining performance obligations, their RPOs, made famous by Oracle, jumped to $625 billion. That's up about 110%. But when you look and you dive deeper into that $625 billion, $250 billion of that 65 is by one company only, Open frickin' AI. That creates concentration risk. And they represent, by the way, OpenAI, that is, 45% of Microsoft's commercial backlog. Well, Microsoft responded back. They pushed back against that concentration. They're like, look, Microsoft's role as OpenAI's provider of scale and confidence in backlog quality. So they're trying to say, hey, look, this is part and parcel of the deal that we have with them, and we think that they're good for their money. So they're pushing back against concentration risk by analysts. Thoughts?
I'm busy. I'm in something
All right,
right now.
Adara, what are your thoughts on Microsoft?
One thing I really want to say here, beyond the OpenAI stuff that I think was really interesting, was Microsoft's Azure growth slowing down. And I mentioned this in the recap. I was like, oh, the growth slowing down. It's like the same quarter over quarter. Then because I am me, and apparently I felt I had nothing better to do, I spent time last night at home outside of work looking into this, and I made this visual. So here's the thing. Azure cloud growth has been dropping. This is the entire history. I literally went back to the reports, and I went, like, what's the first time that I see a reference here to Azure GAAP revenue growth year over year? And that's Q4 2016. So we're going back 10 years here. This is 10 years almost worth of data. And what you can see here that I think is pretty clear is the growth is not just slowing now. It is actually kind of stabilizing right now. It's been slowing for 10 years, which makes sense because usually, like, when you start to report a metric, or obviously this thing's just started, they're going to be reporting more growth, then it kind of slows a bit. But anyways, I just wanted to put this into context because that was one of the biggest things I was seeing was, oh, there's a lot of, slowing here of revenue growth. And clearly this was bugging me enough that it festered that I did this at home while watching Law & Order last night. So I do have to shout out MSFT. I do think that, like if you look at the last 3 quarters here, I'll see if I can zoom in on my own little visual so you guys can see. But they're actually, like we've kind of, if anything, steadied the revenue growth. This is all around like 38, 39, 40% growth over the last 3 quarters. So maybe we get kind of what we've seen with NVIDIA's revenue growth, where you get that nice, pop, then we kind of bottom out, and then we push higher. Maybe that's what happens with Azure growth. But either way, because that was something I was seeing, and it's something that, was festering, I wanted to actually visualize it for you all. I will drop this infographic link in the chat if you want to look at it close up, because I know it's kind of hard to read with this Microsoft yellow. But I digress. I think overall, MSFT probably going to rebound, but I don't think it will be doing this today. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about a little Tesla earnings. Where are they at? They're down 2 1/4 still on the day. While they delivered a top and bottom line beat with EPS, adjusted that is, coming in at 50 pennies, beat on expectations, despite the fact that EPS declined 17% year over year. Kind of gives you the idea that analysts were already wise to the drop in profitability. Revenue coming in at $24.9 billion. That's slightly above consensus, but it also represents an 11% year-over-year decline on that top line number. What I wouldn't like to see as much is more of a drop on EPS, because that means you're not able to shore up costs and or you're doing too much cost cutting for your products. I'd rather the top line number be down more year over year than that profitability, because you should be wise to the fact that you're not going to sell as many cars and then take actions to make sure you're protecting your profitability. They didn't do that. And probably because they're spending on CapEx. But let's go on to the next one. Margins under pressure, and this is kind of what we're talking about here. Automotive gross margins fell 170 basis points quarter over quarter. That's sequential, down to 16.7%, continuing, that longer-term margin compression trend, with adjusted EBITDA dropping 175 basis points now, down to 5.7%. But operating income also declined another 11%, which is offset a little bit by that 39% jump in operating expenses. Let's talk about their energy and storage revenue. We talked to you guys about this yesterday as part of maybe a dark horse for Tesla, and having sort of a balancing effect with automotive revenue coming down, but energy and storage maybe coming up and balancing it somewhat. That's exactly what happened. It surged 25% year over year, and it was really driven by the Megapack deployment that Tesla said they're deploying on scale now. And the strength partially, as I mentioned, offsets the weakness in automotive sales and helped limit overall that revenue decline, despite the fact that it was down 11% year over year. Tesla did highlight that it's their highest quarterly energy storage deployment ever, reinforcing the segment's continued growth and the fastest growing segment, mind you, for Tesla. But automotive is kind of where it hits the fan. Sales declined sequentially, pressured by many different things. Elon Musk's involvement in politics, reduced incentives from the government, that $7,500 EV tax credit kiboshed in September, and that it's obviously had pressure on gross margins, which did show some improvement, which suggesting, at least to the market, that pricing pressure may be stabilizing somewhat. We'll have to wait and see. Tesla continues, though, their progress on Optimus, with plans to unveil Gen 3 in Q1 of this year. Now, if you ever watch, the All In podcast, you'll know that Jason Calacanis apparently got like a sneak peek at Gen 3 Optimus with Elon at the Gigafactory, and he was raving about it. Whether or not you think he's obviously biased, being a friend of Elon's or whatever, he says it's really good, and some analysts are leaking information saying that it's quite good as well. Now, for whatever reason, not included in the summary in this article is the big headline to me was the cancellation of the Model S and the cancellation of the Model X, the two most expensive Tesla models, of course. And they're going to retrofit those gigafactories to produce Optimus. Now, I think that that's a great move for Tesla, because it was going to take forever to build, your new gigafactories to be able to produce this Optimus, and there was no room at any of the other gigafactories, because they're already trying to scale up these cars. Let alone, the Cybercab, which is probably going to be its own thing. So I do really like that, but there's a silver lining. Well, not silver lining. The other side of the equation here is, it leaves Tesla without that premium high margin product. They made more money per car on the Model S and the Model X, especially the Plaid versions, than they would ever make on the Model Y or Model 3, despite the fact that they weren't even close in numbers. But it's a trade-off, I guess, right? So no premium product other than maybe the Cybertruck and maybe the what's it called? They're calling it the Performance Model Y now. Still not as premium, I would say, though, as some of the Model S and Model X, which were bigger in size, by the way. Let's talk a little bit about Apple. Earnings tonight after the bell. I think it comes out at 4:30, a little bit later, and here's what analysts are expecting. We're expecting EPS to come in at $2.66. That would be up from last year on the quarter this time of the year, where it was $2.40, and revenue expected to be $118.07 billion. That's only a little bit above the $117.15 billion we got last year. I was expecting a bigger top line, given that iPhone sales have picked up. But this article, kind of posits that analysts expect iPhone revenue to be roughly flat or slightly down year over year. I'm assuming because they're Q4, maybe they're not realizing the whole sort of stronger iPhone upgrade cycle in that quarter. Maybe it's going to get reflected in Q1. I'm not really sure why analysts feel that way, but by all accounts, we're hearing iPhone sales are markedly higher for the 17 than the 16. And that's the key swing factor here, how well they do on iPhone sales. And China, specifically with iPhone sales, will be under scrutiny. We've been getting more reports that iPhone sales are picking up in China. We need to see that reflected in the data. Let's go on to services for Apple, their highest margin segment. 80-some-odd% gross margins, and now accounting for about a quarter of their revenue. Services revenue expected to grow in the high single digits. A miss there in like mid-single digits, for example, could send the stock down. Again, their highest margin product. Gross margins are projected to remain near highs, so that's going to be another thing. So even if that top line number for services is higher, people are going to be looking at the specific gross margin percentage as a possible reason or to remain bullish. And let's cut the crap, man. Their AI strategy, super important. It's been kiboshed, it's been fumbled, it's been not done well. And they have been notably restrained lately on their AI messaging. We did know that they're tying an agreement with Gemini to be kind of the new Siri, but that's only one release. We're supposed to get possibly 2 releases of this AI Siri this year. The second, that's not Gemini related, I don't know, is that going to be an in-house model? Are they going to go with the ChatGPT, which they're already using? No idea. So I'm going to be looking for more on that on the call. And any clarity on AI timelines and monetization would be super important as well. And Apple continues to generate massive free cash flow, which definitely supports that aggressive buyback, which puts money, of course, back in shareholders' hand. Joey, Apple.
All right, Apple, I mean, we got wicked out, bottom wicked here on GLD, so we're done here for the day, guys. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be it for me as for trading, and yeah, that's it. So let's head over to Apple and see what we got going on. Someone was asking about some options contracts. Greetings from California, Joe. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Greetings, Tom, California. Greetings, Tom, California, Joe. I would like to have your opinion on some Apple 285 call expiration date May. There are $71 contract. Thank you. Just be cautious, right? Because you have the earnings report after the bell, and you're going to be paying an increase in premium. You don't know which way. Don't feel FOMO if it does decide to rip. Just wait for IV to cool down and then get involved in it if you do want to leverage your system and buy those options contracts. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think now is the right time. Okay, I could be wrong, but I mean, if you get that pop, you get out. Obviously, you have the risk. $7,100, slightly expensive as well, too, $7,000. Now, as from a daily perspective, guys, we're down approximately 11%, 10% off of that previous pivot high. This earning report is going to tell us a lot. Okay, we want to see obviously how the growth and how 17 sales are kind of continuously growing. Did you get that super cycle? Is it going to be double-digit growth in that specific segment? How are the services performing? So a lot going on and a lot to look forward here on today's Apple report.
All right. By the way, thank you there, Majid, for reminding me about this, because Apple did have another headline today, other than, of course, their earnings. They purchased an Israeli startup called Q.AI. Apparently, this company's focused on artificial intelligence, for sound processing, according to a report by the Financial Times. Here's what we need to know. I guess the company is a veteran at 3D sensing. QAI's technology is designed to make devices better at understanding very quiet speech and at cleaning up audio in noisy conditions. Their leadership team, including CEO Avid, will join Apple, Reuters reported. They previously sold 3D sensing to PrimeSense to Apple in 2013, a transition that helped underpin the shift from fingerprint sensors to Face ID on iPhone. Okay. And their co-founders are also set to move to Apple as part of the acquisition. Why the deal matters. Apple has already begun adding on-device AI features to AirPods. More on that in a second, including real-time translation. Integrating QAI's expertise could accelerate more advanced functions such as the ultra-reliable voice controls in crowded spaces, clearer calls, and more responsive Siri interactions. Now, yeah, we can go on with this, but I just want to mention one thing that, again, a rumor from online sources. The AirPods Pro that may be released this year are rumored to have cameras on the side of them, probably a fisheye camera so it can get a wide scope. If that's the case, then we could see wearable AI for Apple, likely with processing on the iPhone. So the AirPods would just likely be the cameras. I don't think there's going to be on AirPod processing, but that would kind of open up that new wave of AI, visual AI for Apple. You know, what it does from a privacy sense. I think reasonable people can disagree on this, but I think it would probably be a good product in terms of making money. That's just my opinion there. And again, completely unconfirmed. These are just rumors. Let's go on to the next story. NVIDIA, China update and OpenAI investment. Let's talk about this. So NVIDIA has not yet received any H200 AI chip orders from Chinese customers as Beijing apparently continues to review import approvals. We'll have more on this story, but we got to go to the big desk with breaking news.
Here in SATS, this is EchoStar Corporation. They're moving lower here in a report that, or kind of moving around here to report that Elon Musk's SpaceX is in merger talks with XAI ahead of its planned IPO. This is going to be impacting SATS because it's in that satellite space. Reuters reporting here that Elon Musk's SpaceX is talking about merging with Elon Musk's XAI ahead of that SpaceX IPO. SATS is getting some movement on this, guys. It's moved like $5. Back to you.
Thank you for that. So Jensen, I saw the interview this morning. He's in, I think, Taipei, and he said the approvals, even though we reported to you yesterday that the Chinese regulator had given the nod for the H200 to come in, at least, you know, on a semi-limited basis, he's still saying no. The approval is still pending. Now, he's quite optimistic that it's going to go through based upon his discussions with the regulators, but fact of the matter is, it's still pending. Chinese authorities, according to the report, have asked major tech firms, including Baba and others, to prepare for potential orders, signaling, you know, those may be nearing, the approvals may be nearing. Just to give you some information on the H200, it was introduced back in 2023 and then basically sold in 24. It's part of NVIDIA's Hopper generation, which is, you know, the second 2 generations behind, I want to say, the upcoming Rubin platform. So we're in Blackwell right now. We're going to get Rubin probably later this year. So Hopper would be 2 generations behind the most advanced NVIDIA chip. So for those people in the government, you know, that we're making the case, let's not give China any of our advanced chips. The counter argument to that is, well, this chip is 2 generations behind. I think reasonable people can disagree on this as well. Let's talk about the Chinese context and why this is still an important story. It's the regulatory uncertainty, which keeps reinforcing that China's upside is optional, while the downside risk is largely priced in. Right? Because we heard Jensen say this in his own words. His China revenue is at 0. So it can only get better from here. You have to assume the market's already priced in at $190.39 a share that their China revenue is 0. So I think if he does get, you know, a concrete yes, here's how many H200s can come into the country, we're going to see that reflected in the price of the upside. That's just my bias. And then one last part to the story here is that they're throwing more money into OpenAI, but they're not doing it alone this time. Softy's apparently going to take a stake that could be about $10 billion. Amazon says it's going to be $10 to $20 billion into OpenAI, but what's it called? NVIDIA is going to throw another 60 at him, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Altman's got his hands. I mean, he's in bed with a lot of people at this point, just doing continuously rounds of investment. I don't know what he's going to do here. I mean, I don't know what else he's got going on aside from ChatGPT. It sucks, in my opinion, at this point. It's not the best out of the LLMs. You better start monetizing, getting some ads in there. But when are you going to start seeing a return on investment? It's going to have to come out of a computer screen and be more than an LLM. As for the H200s, I feel like we're playing ping pong at this point, Sharif, with it. Until the headline comes up saying, hey, Alibaba and some of these larger companies and the corporations who applied it, receive them, exactly what I'm getting at. Until then, we're just going to go, I think it's just going to be back and forth. It's approved one day, the next day it's not. They're putting their orders out, the next day it's not approved just yet, more regulatory issues. So yeah, once again, I just mentioned we're playing ping pong with it. Until they actually have them physically, we're going to go with the flow on that one. As for the chart, you're stuck within this consolidation, and we have been consolidating from July. Maybe in February, when NVDA does report, you get a break of this zone.
All right, let's go on to Alphabet. Waymo faces a new federal probe. What happened? So the U.S. auto safety regulator, known as the NHTSA, opened a preliminary investigation after Waymo's autonomous vehicle struck a child, Joey, near an elementary school in Santa Monica. The incident occurred on the 23rd of January during school drop-off hours, and it included multiple parked vehicles and pedestrian activity. So one of those edge cases that we always talk about. Waymo said the child ran into the roadway from behind a stopped SUV directly into the vehicle's path. We're not saying that's what happened. We're saying that's what Waymo said, okay? Waymo stated that the AV detected the child immediately, braked hard, and then reduced the speed from 17 miles an hour to under 6 miles an hour before impact. Now, according to Waymo's own internal modeling, not the NHTSA, Waymo's own internal modeling, it suggests that a human driver may have hit the child at around 14 miles an hour because they would have reacted slower. Whether you believe that or not, that's what's being said, and it implies that the AV, the autonomous vehicle, has a better mitigation system than human. All right. After contact, the vehicle stopped, pulled over, and called 911, remaining on scene until cleared by police. Now, what's not immediately apparent is whether the vehicle automatically detected that it hit somebody, pulled over on its own, and then called 911 on its own, or whether an operator maybe got a message that an incident had happened and then did it. You're going to have to look into that. The article didn't specify. Let's talk about the NHTSA and what they're going to view. They're going to basically they're going to review whether Waymo exercised one appropriate caution near a school zone, especially during peak hours. They're also going to examine the intended behavior of the AV, the compliance of the AV to the posted speed limit, and the post-impact response protocols. The same day, though, this is not good for Waymo. The same day, the NTSB, a different regulatory body, opened a separate probe into Waymo after one of its robo-taxis illegally passed a school, or a school bus, I should say, a stop school bus in Austin, Texas. That's a big no-no. You get flagged for that here. And back in December, Joey, Waymo recalled about 3,000 vehicles to do some software updates.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, we're still in the early stages of this stuff. I mean, and I think they're under more scrutiny just due to how new the technology is. How many times would a person actually driving the vehicle, not an autonomous one, does that scenario happen? We'd have endless articles at the end of the day, but considering it's just a newer technology, we're hearing a little bit about it more. There's going to be speed bumps along the way, no pun intended, but I mean, it's unfortunate that the kid got hit. Things happen fast. If it reacted in a better manner than what a human could do, I don't know, you'd have to replay the scenario. Obviously, they're going to try to save their own rear end on that front. Absolutely. But again, new technology, a lot of these things are going to happen. It's not going to be 100% perfect. And if people think that's going to be the case, then yeah, exactly. So you got a long road to hoe, as they would like to say, and I would feel sorry for you, because it's never going to be perfect. You're going to have those accidents. You're going to have people being injured in them. But if you can substantially reduce human error, then that's what I think essentially we're trying to aim for. As for Google, we talked about it in the likes of Microsoft, the continuous uptrend. Be cautious of this, right? It's something you want to keep an eye out for. If it does crack, you might see about a 10-15% pullback here in goggles.
TCGL halted again to the upside. It is up 1,200 216% on the day. It is now a $2.33 billion market cap. Okay, it has a low of $8.90. It's halted at 5 pennies below $115. Shout out to KC526. I know where you're holding this from. That's an insane trade. This is an insane move. It's halted to no end, and the buyers keep buying. This is insane. I think this is one of the best ones of the year so far, but it's almost done no volume. For 147, it's done 3.57 million shares. This is next level stuff. But here, TCGL, don't get FOMO. It's got to be a technically based trade. But shout out to Casey because I know she's in this. Let's talk about IBM, Assassino. IBM, where is it at? Find out. Up 4.15% on the day after a clean beat for their Q4 earnings. EPS came in at 452, beating the 432 on revenue of 19.69 billion. That topped the estimates of 19.23, so a clean beat on the top and bottom line. That revenue number, that top line number, man, it grew at 12% year over year. Solid acceleration from last year, kind of reinforcing that whole execution across both software and infrastructure. We'll get to that in a second. This is what really caught my attention, though. Net income, that profitability, that take-home money, nearly doubled. They took home about $2.92 billion in profit this year on the quarter. Last year on the quarter, I should say. This time, $5.6 billion in profitability. Fantastic, fantastic increase there. Their guidance as well. They're guiding about 5% full-year revenue growth, moderating, though, a little bit from the 8% they grew at last year on the quarter, but still ahead of the 4.6 expected by the street, so another beat there. Free cash flow projected to increase by $1 billion after hitting already $14.7 billion back in 2025. That's going to support the dividends that they're going to pay out, and as well as their balance sheet. Neil, does IBM pay a divvy? I mean, do they do, not the divvy, sorry, I meant stock buybacks. Do they have a stock buyback program? Okay. I know they pay a divvy, but I'm not sure if they do stock buybacks, but you got to assume that free cash flow would certainly support their stock buybacks. The outlook, again, modestly above expectations, but help fuel the rally, at least earlier on. It's selling off a little bit now, but still up on the day. Let's talk about their AI push, right? Good move here. IBM's generative AI book of business surpassed $12.5 billion. Management framed AI as a durable multi-year growth drive rather than just a one-off catalyst. And the CEO, Arvind Krishna, really doubling down on quantum, says IBM is on track to deliver its first ever large-scale quantum computer before the end of the decade. He is slating that it will be released by 2029. It's not a near-term revenue driver, but something definitely to look forward to if you're holding the stock. Their segment breakdown, software revenue grew nicely, 14%, bringing in about $9 billion, driven really by automation, data, and the Red Hat demand. Infrastructure revenue, though, guys, jumped 21%. Still a much smaller revenue headline number than software, but growing at a lot faster rate. With IBM saying their mainframes really making up a large part of that infrastructure growth. Mainframe sales, 67% year-over-year increase on that line. And there we go. The IBM board approved a quarterly dividend of $1.68 a share. And for those IBM shareholders, some of which are on the stage, that's payable March 10th. Joey.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, a lot of good stuff here from the segment performance streak. We'll touch a little bit more up on that. So, like, data up 19% in Q4, driven by Gen AI. Automation up 14% in Q4 as well, too. Red Hat slowed to 8% growth, but impacted by tough comps and U.S. federal deal delays. Transaction processing inflected back to about 4% growth, supported by the strong Z17 hardware cycle. I mean, 45% of IBM's business and now the main profit engine, software revenue growing as well too. So a lot positive going on here with IBM. You have this consolidation, and if you, you have this 318. You open up around that zone, and you fill up the majority of the gap. But a lot of that has to do with overall market sentiment as well too. If you zoom out and head over to the monthly or the weekly, whatever it may be, whatever you're comfortable with. This is what you want as an investor, right? This is why sometimes this buy and hold is really good, 145% from those May lows. So some pretty good activity here in IBM.
You've seen Bezos lately?
Yeah, I like his beard, man.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's got the white scruff now, man. See Lauren Sanchez? She almost plowed her face into the ground.
No, like brother, I don't know. You like Lauren Sanchez?
I have no problem with her. I don't know anything about her, Joey.
Pretty sure she has a kid with Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The tight end?
Yeah.
No way.
Atlanta Falcons guy. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Lockheed Martin. Where's LMT at? Let's check out over here, LMT.
Oh, and he brought one thing. He brought her on. He brought Gonzalez on the yacht. So it's big.
Oh, he did it
yeah.
for his wedding.
Well, no, it was
wedding?
like another time they were just partying.
I thought maybe he was invited to the wedding.
Yeah.
Or something. Hey, some people get divorced, but they're still on good terms, right? Especially if you have a kid. Like,
exactly.
You gotta make that work.
Well, I mean, it couldn't be that good of terms if you get the divorce, but you can.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean.
Whatever it is. All right, let's bring it back to LMT. All right, LMT still up 5 1/4. And here's what happened. They forecast 2026 profit well above Wall Street's estimate, and they cited, sadly, the global demand for fighter jets and weapon systems. I shouldn't say sadly. People need to defend themselves. Hopefully nobody uses them. Ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, as well as the prolonged Ukraine-Russia conflict, continue to fuel defense spending and order visibility. Let's talk about what they do. So these are monsters, by the way. LMT is a monster. They make the F-35. They make the air superiority fighter known as the F-22 Raptor, my favorite fighter, as well as the RQ-170 stealth drones and that Sikorsky Black Hawk helicopter. All those, Lockheed Martin has those. The company also secured a 7-year agreement with the Department of Defense to ramp up the Patriot missiles, the PAC-3 interceptor production, which is going to increase to 2,000 units annually, and that's up from 600, so almost tripling that, right? Materially boosting their missile segment capacity. Guys, TCGL is open. It's open up to 136.32. It's zigging. Oh, it's going to hold down. This is going to be the first halt down here.
I wonder if Benny's still in this thing, man.
Let's see, Joey. I mean, we'll probably find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out if we hear like someone screaming in the back.
Yeah.
It's going to halt down here, guys. TCGL halted to the downside for the first time on the day. Oh my days. That was a big move. It's still up 1,200%, mind you. Let's continue with this article, though. Segment performance for Lockheed. Let's talk about that. Missiles and fire control business. That was their fastest growing segment, with sales up almost 18% year over year on the quarter. Their aeronautics revenue up 6.4%, and they delivered a record, Joey, 191 F-35 fighter jets. Compare that to last year on the quarter. Well, not last year, but 2024 in Q4, they delivered 110. So almost doubling that delivery as well, and that makes sense. Probably a lot more orders now with what's going on. Let's talk about the actual money that they made. We're talking about everything except the money. They're guided 2026 revenue to be between $77.5 to $80 billion. That's well above the analyst estimate of 77.83. Their EPS for 2026 expected to be about $29.33 to $30.25 per share, which tops the $29.25 expected by analysts. Q4 revenue, actual realized revenue, $20.33 billion, up from $18.62 last year, and the company paid about $13.13 billion in dividends in 2025, which is up from what they paid last year. But here's what I highlighted in green. I saved the green for the big ones. A new U.S. policy linking dividends and buybacks to weapons delivery schedules adds that capital return uncertainty. What are we talking about? Well, President Trump was not happy with the delivery schedule, the delivery speed, or the investment of profits into R&D to make better weapons. As a result, he kind of put that regulatory headwind on how much share buybacks and how much dividends these defense contractors can actually pay to their shareholders, at the expense, of course, of a price accretion, because that's what it does. And then last but not least here, Joey, the F-35 program. That's the Pentagon's largest acquisition. It carries a lifetime cost exceeding $2 trillion. So that's how much revenue LMT can make from the F-35 program in its lifetime.
Yo, that would justify maybe a little bit on why we just tapped into new all-time highs here on LMT, Sharif. A high of around $650. But to add to your segment growth here, I know you went over the aeronautics and the missile and fire control. But what about the RMS, rotary mission and systems, 8% there. Space, 8%. What is that Brad Pitt movie, guys, where he's like fighting in space and they have the space guns and stuff like that? Relatively new. What's that? Ad Astra is the name of that movie. Yeah, I mean, the aeronautics F-35 production sustainment and classified program, F-35, Sharif mentioned that cash flow and balance, free cash flow up to $2.8 billion, full year free cash flow of 25, around $6.9 billion. So, yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good here and continuing to climb. So whoever had LMT on one of their picks, it's been an absolute monster because it's climbing, climbing, climbing.
Short sale restricted, not just Microsoft on the day. ServiceNow down 11.5%. Here's why. They delivered a Q4 beat, adjusted EPS 92 pennies, beating 88 pennies expected by analysts on revenue of 3.57, beating the 3.53, so beat on the top and bottom line. And that revenue number, that wasn't small. It grew at 20.5% year over year on the quarter. However, the shares fell, suggesting the expectations, for the revenue were already elevated, I should say, and investors focus more on the forward growth and the spending intensity. We'll talk about that. So here's what they guided Q1 subscription revenue to be between 3.65 to 3.66. That's largely in line with full year 2026 subscription revenue guiding 15.53 to 15.57. The board also approved an additional $5 billion in share buyback, but the acquisition of MoveWorks is expected to add about 100 basis points to the subscription revenue growth for both Q1 and the full year. And management emphasized their acquisitions are an acceleration of organic growth, not a pivot away from it. And that's what we see with maturing companies. They acquire companies in order to kind of remain increasing that top line number. I don't think that that's bad, right? And it certainly helps inject money where money is needed with these smaller companies because the bigger companies have it, right? Recent deals include that $7.75 billion acquisition of Armis, which is a cybersecurity company, and they completed that $3 billion MoveWorks acquisition. The spending spree, though, has raised investor concerns around discipline, but management, for their part, they argue the return on investment here is capability driven. Last but not least, subscription revenue, Joey, rose 21% year over year up to $3.47 billion. That beats the expectations of 3.42, and their full year 2025 subscription revenue reached 12.88, also up 21% year over year. The market not rewarding them.
No, not rewarding them whatsoever, but it hasn't been rewarded for quite some time either, though, Sharif. The last time our previous pivot high was in January of 2025, almost a year ago today. So you got a couple of years here now at this point where it just hasn't been good whatsoever. You're down 51%. You've lost the majority of its value, $239.24, now down to $115. Service now not looking too bright right now, is it? But, all right, guys.
Let's just wait for Katina May's coming in. Let's just give him an opportunity to settle down.
Yeah, South Jersey Jacket's good, thank you. I had ACL surgery about a year and a half ago, and it's a slow process, broski. Yes, it is. It's my second time around, second spin on the old ACL, so we're familiar with the process, and we're willing to endure it. Obviously, we wouldn't have done it. We would have just kept rocking and rolling how we were, but that's not the case. So.
Yeah.